New Jersey, 62 degrees. The winds northwest at 15, and the outlook absolutely perfect. This is the second meeting between these two teams. The first one down at Nyland Stadium in Knoxville in November of 1979, and Rutgers shocked Tennessee and the Southeastern Conference with a 13-7 victory. Rutgers comes in with a record of 3-4 consecutive wins over Colgate and William & Mary, coming from behind to win both of those football games. And the Volunteers are on a roll. They've won 4 straight since losing to Auburn, and in the process, they've knocked off LSU and Alabama. The officials for today's game, Joe Hicks is the referee. He is from the Southeastern Conference, and there is the rest of a split crew, both the Eastern Collegiate Independence officials and the SEC officials working today's football game.
That win over Tennessee a couple of years ago, Bruce, I mentioned it was not a fluke. Rutgers did control the line of scrimmage, had the ball for 37 minutes. They threw just 12 passes in that game, completing 11 of them. That was the key to the victory.
Juan Revez, a junior from Miami, Florida, will set to kick things off in today's game. Revez is a marvelous kicker. Back deep for the Scarlet Knights, Danny Errico near side, and James Shedneck in the middle.
I don't know if Rutgers is going to be able to control the football today as they did back in 1979, but certainly they've got to attempt to do that. And of course the test will be for the offensive line of Rutgers. They not only have to give Albert Smith and the rest of the running backs some room to run, but they also have to provide some pass protection for Jack LaPrairie.
Apparently there's quite a wind out there today, and Revez is looking for someone to give him a hand and hold the ball off the tee as he's set to get things underway. Back in 79, Rutgers off the passing of Ed McMichael, who was 11 for 12, shocked Tennessee. This is the second meeting, and we're set to go at Giant Stadium. Rutgers in the home red, Tennessee in the visiting white. And James Shedneck will get it at the 2. Shedneck to the 18-yard line, and that is all. So Rutgers will start 1st and 10. Let's check the Rutgers offensive unit. Jack LaPrairie, the quarterback. Albert Smith has been excellent in the last 2 football games at tail. And watch for Andrew Baker, the big play man. Offensive line, Joe Panucci, right tackle, has played well the last couple of weeks. Alan Andrews, the tight end, and a good one.
Wouldn't be surprised if Rutgers came out throwing on 1st down, just to try to get on the scoreboard quickly and shake up that Tennessee defense a little bit.
1st and 10, Scarlet Knights from the 18-yard line. Jack LaPrairie will put it up. Swings it out to Vernon Williams. And Williams is cut down at the line of scrimmage. Good tackle by Reggie McKenzie. Let's check the Tennessee defense. They are led by left tackle All-American Reggie White. 4 linebackers for the Volunteers. Carl Zander, a local player from Mendham, New Jersey. Alvin Tolles is a good linebacker. And the secondary is young. 2 freshmen, 2 sophomore. Terry Brown, Charles Davis, Joe Coffer, and Tommy Sims.
Thing that is helping that secondary out, because it is inexperienced, is the ferocious pass rush that Tennessee has generated.
LaPrairie back to throw. Has plenty of time. Tucks the football. And he is bottled up by 3 or 4 white jerseys.
Tennessee defense not very big, but very quick, very fast. Even the substitutes are fast. The front 7 for Tennessee averages just 223 pounds a game. Last week we made a big thing of the size at William & Mary. We thought that they were undersized. They averaged 220 pounds per man. Rutgers, on the other hand, their defensive front 7 averages 232 pounds. So it's not size, it's overall ability and quickness.
3rd and 9 for the Scarlet Knights. Baker wide left, Pendergrass wide right. LaPrairie hands the ball off to Vernon Williams, and he is stacked up for a loss. Back at the 15-yard line. Reggie White led the charge.
Well, they put out an unbelievable amount of publicity on Reggie White. He's got his own poster and about 2 or 3 pages only on Reggie White. Was administered by the sports information director for Tennessee. That's one of the reasons.
Gary Liska back in punt formation for Rutgers. He stands at his own 2-yard line. Dropping back deep for Tennessee is Charles Benton. And Liska sails it out of there. A fair catch is called and made by Tim McGee. And Tennessee will have excellent field position from their own 49-yard line. The Volunteers start Alan Cockrell at quarterback. Jim Miller will start at fullback, replacing the injured Sam Henderson and Randall Morris. Johnny Jones is the tail, and Taylor and Duncan are your wideouts. And there's a look at that offensive line. Glenn Strano and Kurt Singer, 2 men to watch. Cockrell swings it out on first down, complete to Duncan, and then he drops the football. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Quick screen pass on the very first play of the game. A couple of linemen out there in front of Duncan. However, he couldn't hold on to the football.
There's that Rutgers 5-man front. Lionel Washington will start at left end, Bobby Dumont at right. Linebackers are Tyrone Stowe and Jim Dumont. Carl Howard, Dan Errico, Harold Young, and Bill Houston in the secondary. Cockrell on first down, hands the ball off, and back to the 50-yard line, and that is all. It's Johnny Jones on the carry.
So Butch Young coming up to make the tackle, and I would expect that we're going to see a lot of the Rutgers safeties. They're going to almost have to play it like linebackers because this offensive line, as we indicated at the start of the game, is big and experienced. They've all been together for at least 3 years. You've got 4 seniors and 1 junior, but the junior, Bill Mayo, the right offensive guard, has been a starter since his freshman year.
3rd and 8 for Cockrell and company. Back to throw, straight drop back, steps in, fires incomplete. Had a man wide open across the middle in B.B. Cooper, but he overthrew him, and Rutgers has held in their first defensive series.
A little bit of indecisiveness on the part of Alan Cockrell. He was not under a rush. His offensive lineman had good position on the Rutgers front 4 that was rushing on that last occasion. Lionel Washington was coming from the defensive end spot. He moved out of the pocket prematurely, lost his poise.
Jimmy Colquitt will drop back in punt formation for the Volunteers. Back deep, James Shedneck of Rutgers. Just underway, first quarter, Giant Stadium, no score, Rutgers and Tennessee. Colquitt going for the corner, and he puts it out of bounds up near the 15 or 17-yard line. 11 minutes and 53 seconds left in the first quarter, no score from Giant Stadium. First down for the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers from the 17-yard line. Second offensive possession for the Scarlet Knights. Williams and Smith in the backfield, and Vernon Williams gets the call, gets a couple of yards on the play, and there's a flag down on the play.
Rutgers cross blocking on the offensive line. Offensive guard, offensive tackle, exchanging assignments, center and the offensive guard, fold blocking. That's the type of thing they feel they have to do to make some yardage and to block those people up front. See everybody moving to the right, and there goes the running back, Vernon Williams, breaking off to the left. Might have been better had he run straight up field.
Penalty will be assessed against Rutgers. It will bring the ball back to the 8-yard line. And it is indeed offensive holding against the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers.
Tennessee, very quick, very fast. That's the thing that Frank Burns talked of repeatedly at the luncheon on Tuesday.
Forrest Pendergrass comes wide right. Andrew Baker wide to the left. First down, 19 yards to go for Rutgers. This time out of the I formation. The hands to Albert Smith. Smith tries the left side. Gets 2 or 3 yards on the play. Alvin Tolles, the fine linebacker for Tennessee, a junior from Forsyth, Georgia, in to make the tackle.
Yeah, Rutgers had been running the football well last week against William and Mary. They had 255 yards rushing. In fact, they've been averaging 178.6 yards over the course of the season. I would think that against a fast, agile, quick defense like Tennessee has, you want to run right at them from tackle to tackle.
Second down, 15 to go. McCrary has time, throws complete to Andrews. Andrews up to the 20-yard line. First completion of the afternoon, Alan Andrews, who leads the team in reception.
Now Andrews, the tight end for Rutgers, breaking over the middle. You see him all alone. Of course, now Rutgers had a long yardage situation because of the penalty, so they were readily conceding that short pass over the middle. Not bad protection. Joe Panucci, the right offensive tackle, trying to block Reggie White, pushed back a little bit, but he stayed in front of White. That's the most important thing.
3rd and 7. LaFrary to throw again. Wide open is Baker, and he dropped the football. We haven't seen that happen too often this year. Andrew Baker all alone and simply dropped the pigskin.
That could have been a big play for Rutgers. That's the thing that Tennessee has been doing so well over the course of the season. Once again, pretty good pass protection. Big challenge for Joe Panucci. Gets some help from Owens. No, he handles him by himself. You see that Baker should have held on to the football. A little too intent on running with the ball after catching it. Never did catch it, however.
Gary Liska back in punt formation. Tennessee says they think they can block a punt. We'll have to find out.
Yes.
Liska just gets it away. And it takes a parallel bounce. And again, Tennessee will have excellent field position at the Rutgers 44-yard line. Well, we're still scoreless. 10 minutes and 3 seconds left in the first quarter of play. The Volunteers of Tennessee will have it 1st and 10 at the Rutgers 44-yard line. No score, 10 minutes, first quarter of play. Alan Cockrell hands off to Johnny Jones, stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Bob Dumont read the play and made the initial hit for Rutgers.
Now, so far, Rutgers has done well in containing the Tennessee running attack. They came into today's game with a great many injuries to their running backs. 3 of their top 4 running backs are not going to play today. Coleman out with a thigh bruise. Randall Morris probably will not play. And Sam Henderson, a big 245-pound fullback, didn't even make the trip. However, Johnny Jones had been alternating with Coleman as their starting tailback.
Between those 3 guys, Sam, that aren't playing, 800 yards in rushing this year. Second down, 10 for the Volunteers. Cockrell fires complete, has a first down. His big tight end, John Cook, a junior from Knoxville, hauled it in and ran for the necessary yardage.
Well, that's a rarity. They don't throw very often to the tight end. Coming into today's game, John Cook had caught just 3 passes. Rutgers not looking for him, and you always want to be unpredictable. You see one of the linebackers blitzing. Tyrone Stowe is blitzing on the play. You see the tight end Cook all alone over the middle.
First down, Tennessee. Rutgers 29-yard line. Johnny Jones fakes outside, fakes inside, and drags a Rutgers player down to the 25-yard line. Harold Butch Young in on the tackle along with Lionel Washington.
Rutgers intent on putting on a pass rush. They sent the linebacker, the inside linebacker, Tyrone Stowe, on that last play. Had he not been coming on the blitz, he would have been in that area where the tight end, John Cook, caught the football.
Second down and 7. Cockrell audibilizing at the line of scrimmage. He does that 60% of the time. Pitches back to Jones, hit by Dan Errico, brought down by Jim Dumont. And Rutgers is fired up defensively.
Yes, they are. They're intent on stopping the running attack of the Tennessee football team, and so far they have done well. There you see the offensive guard, number 67, for Tennessee, doing a good job of blocking. That was Bill Mayo. Couldn't see the Rutgers defensive player that he was blocking on, but he's a good one. They have a good offensive line.
3rd and 6, Tennessee at the 25-yard line. Cockrell straight drop back, steps in, swings it across the middle to B.B. Cooper. Cooper has the first down at the Rutgers 11-yard line. Just a 5'6" junior. B.B. Cooper is like a little fire plug.
Once again, Rutgers has changed the defensive line in an attempt to get a pass rush. Clyde Woodley, number 95, is rushing. Cardilla moved out to tackle. They're sending the linebackers, opening it up. underneath or in the shallow area. And the quarterback, Cockrell, has been throwing in that area. Hasn't thrown much over the middle coming into today's game. He's hit 2 people over the middle today.
On first down, Cockrell hands to his fullback, Jim Miller. And the freshman from Nashville gets a yard or 2 straight up the middle, following Streno, Furness, and Mayo.
Jim Dumont once again in on the tackle, leading the club with 101 tackles. And it's very likely, in fact, almost a certainty, that he will break last year's record of 133 tackles. He is their leader, isn't he?
He sure is, and he's just got a great attitude, and the thing I always say about him is he plays with heart.
11 Jim Dumonts. Of course, they wouldn't all look like that. So if you had 11 Jim Dumonts, you'd beef some up and put them on the defensive line and take some weight off a few others, put them in the secondary. But with that type of attitude and that type of mental and emotional makeup, you'd have a good defensive football team.
First down and 5 for the Volunteers. The ball at the 7-yard line.
Oops, offside, Tennessee.
And there was movement all over the place. Dead ball, foul, offsides against Tennessee. The Volunteers are 5-2. They started out very slowly, losing their opening game in Knoxville to Pittsburgh, 13-3. And they lost their 3rd game of the season to Auburn, 37-14. But since then, they have played excellent football, including a win over Alabama in Birmingham. Ball comes back to the 12. 1st and 10 now for the Volunteers. Again, Cockrell barking signals at the line of scrimmage. Back to throw. He fires. It's incomplete, and a flag is down. Danny Errico was all over Tim McGee.
Well, Cockrell read the play perfectly. Bill Houston was blitzing on the play. He's the weak side safety for Rutgers. You'll watch the receiver break into that area. Dan Errico knows he has no help from the inside. You don't see the infraction, but Errico was all over Clyde Duncan as he broke over the middle into that area vacated by Bill Houston, who was blitzing on the play. See, last week, Rutgers did not have a pass rush. The William & Mary quarterback threw 52 times and was not sacked. Rutgers intent on getting a pass rush today. They've been burned on several blitzes.
1st and goal for the Volunteers. The ball at the 2-yard line. Full house backfield. The give is to Jim Miller, and he's in for 6. Tennessee on the scoreboard first at 7:01 of the first quarter of play.
Went over the top, and there's a lot of him to go over the top. He's 6'4". Jim Miller is. He was a 3rd stringer, actually, a freshman who moved in because of the injuries to Sam Henderson and Randall Morris.
Tennessee on the scoreboard first, and Juan Revez will come on to try the point after touchdown. Revez, 20 of 21 on the season. And the kick is perfect. So Tennessee, starting with good field position, marches in for the first touchdown of the day. And with 7:01 left in the first quarter, the Volunteers lead it 7-0. From Giant Stadium, this is Rutgers football on Madison Square Garden Cablevision.
Square Garden, but perhaps even more important to fans than its renown is its convenience. Only blocks from the Empire State Building in Midtown Manhattan, the Garden is a top 10 station for commuters, nearby dozens of fine restaurants for business get-togethers, and of course, offers the best and exciting sports entertainment. For season subscription information for Madison Square Garden events, call 212-563-8000.
Go ahead. Look at Chrysler. Look at GM. But you're going to find the best-built American cars and trucks at your Ford dealer. The Thunderbird, the Tempo. Their great looks actually improve the way they drive. Now that's building it right. The Escort. It's not the world's best-selling car again just because it's popular, but because it's built right. If you can find a better-built American car or truck, go ahead and buy it. See your local Ford dealer.
Just as the fullback was, and hopefully meet him over the pile of linemen on the ground, but couldn't quite get there.
Fuad Revez will tee it up. Tennessee allowing 15 points per game, scoring over 27, as I mentioned. Their home Nyland Stadium in Knoxville, it holds 95,000. And Revez puts this one way, way back. Danny Errico will not try to return it, and Rutgers will start from the 20-yard line. The last Tennessee scoring drive, 44 yards. They did it in just 6 plays. It took only 3 minutes and change, and Miller went in for the 2-yard score. So I guess the real advantage, Sam, about having a great kicker like Revez is you don't give the other team an opportunity to return it.
Yeah, Rutgers started off poorly with poor field position, did not get a good punt. They may have the wind against them.
Jack LaPrairie leads out Rutgers on 1st and 10 from the 20. LaPrairie straight drop back, and he is in trouble. Throws, caught. Horace Pendergrass made a nice effort coming back to the football, bailed out his quarterback LaPrairie. It's good for a pickup of 7.
Well, I don't know how LaPrairie gets this football off. You'll see the All-American candidate Reggie White all over LaPrairie. John Owens blocking on White. I believe it was supposed to be a screen pass out to the right. See the offensive lineman moving out to the right. However, he finds Boris Pendergrass downfield. Excellent, outstanding play by LaPrairie.
2nd down and 3 for Rutgers at the 27-yard line. Give off is to Vernon Williams. Williams short of the 1st down. He was really popped by Carl Zander, who is playing before his folks here. He's a product of West Morris Mendham High School in nearby Mendham, New Jersey.
I had mentioned that Tennessee is not big defensively. Those 2 inside linebackers, Carl Zander, who just made the tackle, only weighs 206 pounds, and the other inside linebacker, number 44, Alvin Tolles, a junior, just 203 pounds. That's rather small for inside linebackers. Remember, Jim Dumont is 220 for Rutgers.
And he's not a giant.
That's right. Quickness, agility, speed.
Well, it was enough for a 1st down. They spot it right at the 30, and Rutgers has their first down of the afternoon. 7-0 Tennessee, 5:39 first quarter of play, and there are flags down all over the place. The Volunteers of Tennessee, there's the call, 5 yards against Rutgers for delay of game, brought 211 people on their plane from Knoxville. That includes players, equipment men, managers, and other personnel. And there's a look at the Tennessee sideline going over some chalk talk. But, Sam, that is amazing that they used an entire plane to fill 211 people.
They take their football serious down there. There are about 2,500 Tennessee fans in the stands today who came up for the football game.
1st and 15, Rutgers, 25-yard line out of the I formation. Handoff is to Williams. He gets a yard or 2, and that is all. Mark Studaway, right tackle, was in there to lead the assault along with number 83, Ricky Holt.
Yeah, what you try to do when you have a man like Reggie White on the defensive line, number 92, playing the left defensive tackle, you try to slow him down a little bit with trap plays. That time Clement Udovich came out to trap him. White blocked down. Udovich logged him in, but there were 3 other Tennessee defenders in the hole.
2nd and 13, LaPrairie straight drop back. Reggie White's coming again. He swings it out. It's incomplete. He tried to flip it off to Albert Smith, but again, Reggie White, who leads Tennessee with 11 sacks, was all over LaPrairie.
Yeah, just driving the offensive tackle Joe Panucci back. I would have expected more moves from White, but I haven't seen him come in and grab the tackle and try to get him off balance. He's just been attempting to overpower the Rutgers offensive lineman and has had pretty good success.
3rd down, 13 yards to go for the Scarlet Knights from the 27-yard line. LaPrairie back to throw again, and here comes Reggie White. He didn't get him, but he set up number 98, Mark Studaway, and they get a sack on Jack LaPrairie.
Double teamed him that time. Joe DiGilio and John Owens trying to block Reggie White. Between the 2 of them, they couldn't handle White.
So Rutgers will have to punt it away on 4th down. It will be 4th and 20. Gary Liska back at the 5-yard line, and dropping back deep, Tim McGee. Fair catch called and made by McGee at the Rutgers 48-yard line. So for the 3rd time today, Tennessee will start from Rutgers territory.
Yes, they've had excellent field position all day.
Well, there's a look at one of the beautiful Tennessee cheerleaders coming up. Next weekend, the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers travel to Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati to take on the Bearcats of Cincinnati. You'll see it next Saturday night at 10:30 p.m. and Sunday morning at 9. First and 10 again. Cockrell audibilizing at the line of scrimmage. Hands off to Johnny Jones. Jones gets a couple of yards off the right side. Jones averaging 5.6 yards per carry on the season.
Tennessee is a big play team, an explosive team, according to Frank Burns, both long gainers and coming up in crucial situations with the key yardage. And as evidence of that, they've converted 62% of their third down plays this season. That's unusually high.
Second down and 8. Pitch out to Johnny Jones. Makes a nice cutback. He's down to the 39-yard line, close to a first down. Tyrone Stowe made the tackle.
Jones has good speed. He had been alternating with Chuck Coleman. You'll see the lead blocker now is that B.B. Cooper. Little guy out there in front of him, the fullback, gets a pretty good block on Bob Dumont, and you see Jones going for good yardage. B.B. Cooper, the fullback, number 30, stands only 5'6", but weighs 196 pounds.
3rd and 1 at the 40. Cockrell, option, keeps it.
Whoops!
Drops the ball, and it goes out of bounds. Tennessee will keep possession. A break for the Volunteers. Cockrell, running the option, had first down yardage, but all of a sudden coughed up the football, and I guess he was lucky.
Well, he was lucky. Unlucky for Rutgers, although they certainly didn't deserve it, but it could have bounced into a Rutgers defensive player's hands the way it just slid out of Cockrell's arms.
26-yard line, 1st and 10 Volunteers. 3 minutes, first quarter of play. Tennessee leads it 7-0. Out of the I formation, Jones is the tailback. And there are flags down all over the place.
Rutgers substituting heavily along their defensive front. They're giving everybody a shot today. They started the game with Cardilla on the outside and Clyde Woodley on the inside. You saw the left offensive guard, I believe, go off sides. That was Mike Furness.
Sam, when you do so much audibilizing as Cockrell does, it's got to obviously change the cadence, and I would think that's the 3rd time today we've seen that happen. It's got to confuse the players a little.
It changes the cadence, and more than that, it destroys their concentration. See, they stop thinking of the count, start thinking about what the quarterback is saying.
First down and 15. Cockrell setting up a screen. Swings it out to Cooper, and he is ripped down by Carl Howard, who took off Cooper's helmet back at the 37-yard line.
Well, that's the only way Rutgers is going to win this football game. It's what Frank Burns had told his club: loosen up. These guys are the favorites. The pressure is on them. A little bit of pressure on the quarterback, but it was a screen pass. You see the offensive lineman setting up out there. However, Carl Howard, playing it loose, playing it easy, burst between those offensive linemen and grabbed the receiver as he caught the football. Fine play by Howard.
2nd down and 20. There's one of the Volunteer supporters here this afternoon. They spot the football at the 36-yard line, and Cockrell wants a timeout.
Well, the Rutgers had 7 people right up on the line of scrimmage. Cockrell looked up and he said, hey, the play we have called is not going to work against this type of defense with the linebackers playing as tight as they were.
Who said football is not a mental game?
Oh, it is. And of course, when you have people up on the line of scrimmage like that in unexpected places, it changes the offensive line's blocking. Cockrell recognized that. He said, hey, let's go back and talk this one over.
This program is authorized by Madison Square Garden Productions Incorporated solely for the entertainment of our audience, and any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this event, including the imposition of a charge for viewing the program without the express written consent of Madison Square Garden Productions Incorporated, is prohibited. The announcers on this telecast were selected by Madison Square Garden Productions Incorporated.
But you talk about the thinking that goes on out on the football field, Bruce, not only in plays and defensive assignments and coverages where they have to be, but there's also thinking in how to combat your opponent and how to take him on. A defensive player trying to set up an offensive player, or an offensive receiver trying to set up the defensive defender, in this case, the cornerback or the safety.
Cockrell is screaming out instructions again. 2nd down and 20. Straight drop back with time. Fires incomplete. running an out pattern on the left side was Lenny Taylor, and Cockrell overthrew him.
Okay, he went over to the sidelines, consulted with his coach. The coach said, okay, if they're going to put 7 or 8 people up on the line of scrimmage, that means they're compelled to go to man coverage in the secondary, and let's start throwing the football, and let's throw it to our deep threat or one of our fast receivers and get the ball downfield, and that's exactly what they tried to do.
3rd down and 20. Tennessee 66% so far today on 3rd down conversion.
Blitzing linebackers once again.
Cockrell fires across the middle. It's caught by Johnny Jones, far short of the 1st down at the 27-yard line. Jim Dumont puts Young in the tackle for Rutgers. Field goal time, and on comes Guadravez, who was 13 for 19 this season in the field goal department. Last year, he booted a 60-yard field goal.
He set an NCAA mark for most field goals over 50 yards, hitting 8 for 10. Over 40 yards, he was 13 for 17 last year.
A 45-yard attempt. Bad snap. Revez held, and he still drilled it, but it's no good. He had the distance, but it was wide right. And a great effort on the part of Revez just getting that football off with the distance.
Yeah, bad snap. The holder had to reach behind him, and of course that destroys the timing between the holder and the kicker. However, Revez adjusted perfectly to the play. This is the best field position that Rutgers has had in the football game, starting from their 27-yard line.
Here's another look at it.
Snap. You'll see he had to reach back, and Revez adjusted very well. Gets a lot of oomph into the ball.
Jack Sells did a pretty good job trying to put that ball down. But Rutgers takes over from the 27. 1:28 first quarter. Scarlet Knights trail 7-0. The Prairie on 1st down hands to Smith. And Smith gets 2 or 3 yards to the left side.
That's Alan Cockrell talking to the Tennessee assistant coaches up here in the press box. There are always at least 2, 3, sometimes 4 coaches up here. They have a better overall view of what's happening down on the field. They will consult with the quarterback and, of course, send in the plays to him.
2nd down, 6. Smith is the lone setback. 2 tight ends, Drake and Andrews. The Prairie rolls to his left. Fires, complete. Was he in bounds? Yes. Rutgers 1st down, 44-yard line. Bars Pendergrass has his 2nd grab of the afternoon.
Fine catch by Pendergrass. LaPrairie had him all by himself. Instead of just he should have drilled the football not to allow one of those defenders to come up on him, but the ball was not thrown well, thrown to the sideline, and Pendergrass did a good job just to hold on to it and stay in bounds.
1st down, Rutgers at the 44-yard line. Again, Smith is the lone setback. Smith, straight up the middle, a couple of yards. Johnny Williams, the nose man, the first man to make the stop, and Alvin Tolles finished them off.
Notice that they are running away from Reggie White, the All-America candidate at left defensive tackle. Had an off year last year. Had minor injuries. Injuries are so terribly important. You can't imagine what it's like just to play with sometimes a minor ailment. When you're not 100%, it hurts.
2nd down and 7. Scarlet Knights at the 47-yard line. LaPrairie, quick drop back, throws complete to Pendergrass and went through his hands and out of bounds. So
how often do you see that?
He had a shot at it.
Yeah, a receiver make a great catch, an outstanding catch, and then come back and drop one right at his numbers. Again, you hear it so often, but it's because it is true so often. In that case where it's a snap, see, he's wide open, it's a short pass, he starts thinking about what he's going to do downfield, takes his eyes off the football, stops concentrating on the ball as it approaches.
3rd down and 7. 9 seconds left in the first quarter. LaPrairie dropping back, in trouble, throws complete. 1st down, Pendergrass. He's wrestled down at the 40 by Terry Brown. Nice clutch play, but a flag is down in the offensive backfield, and it looks like holding against Rutgers.
Tough break. If Rutgers is to have a chance against Tennessee with outstanding personnel throughout, both offensively and defensively, they cannot make mistakes like this. Let's see if we can pick up number 83, Boris Pendergrass. There's Reggie White coming in from the right. Panucci actually tackles him. That was a situation where he had... They don't give us the numbers, but it was Joe Panucci, number 77, who actually tackled Reggie White. It was either that or allow his quarterback to get sacked, because White had him beaten to the inside.
Joe Hicks of the Southeastern Conference, the head man on today's game. 2 seconds left first quarter. Rutgers with third down now and 17 from their own 37. The Prairie hands the ball off to Smith. Smith breaks one tackle, but that is all. He stopped at the 39 by Alvin Toll.
Tennessee defense is a good one. Last year, they had finished 10th in the SEC.
That is it for the first quarter of play. The score, Tennessee 7, Rutgers nothing. We'll be back with more football in just a moment. Bruce Beckett, Sam DeLuca back at Giant Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The Volunteers of Tennessee leading the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers 7-0 at the end of one.
You know, it's basically your players on the football team that determine winning or losing, but sometimes coaching does help. Mention that they were 10th, dead last in the SEC last year in total defense. Right now, they're number 1 in the SEC, the Southeastern Conference.
Gary Liska to punt on fourth down. Tim McGee is deep for Tennessee. Liska hits it short. McGee calls for a fair catch, and he has it at the 25-yard line, and that's where the Volunteers will start, 1st and 10. Last year, Tennessee was 6-5-1. They lost to Iowa State in the Peach Bowl, and in '81 they were 8-4. They beat Wisconsin right here at Giant Stadium before an excellent crowd in the Garden State Bowl that year, 28-21. What a day today is for football, and the fans certainly enjoying this intersectional battle. 1st and 10 for Cockrell from the 25-yard line. He pitches back to Johnny Jones, and he is hit by Jim Dumont, and Rutgers swarming to help out Dumont. A gain of maybe a yard on the play.
Jim Dumont once again all over the field, and when he gets to the ball carrier, I mean, he lets him know that, hey, this is Jim Dumont making that tackle. Outstanding tackle. Once again, Bill Beschner now goes out of the football game. He's got Lino Washington, Cardilla, number 95, Woodley in there.
Woodley is the designated pass rusher. Cockrell swings it out quickly to Duncan, and Duncan is dropped by Carl Howard. Second time today that Howard has made a fine defensive play.
Yeah, that time he didn't rack up the ball carrier. Duncan came up and made a safe tackle. There's a time when you want to unload on somebody, and also a time when you want to play it safely. Had Howard not made that tackle, the receiver could have broken for excellent yardage down the sideline. So he came up, broke down, and made what is called a safe tackle.
3rd and 5 at the 30. Hand off, Jones, first down. Quick acceleration by Johnny Jones, a junior from Mumford, Tennessee, who came into today's game with 456 yards rushing.
Good offensive line. You'll see number 67, Bill Mayo, blocking on Tyrone Stowe, and also the other key block by Steve Knight, the right offensive tackle, blocking on Cardilla. See number 79 standing there as the ball carried downfield.
1st and 10 Volunteers at the 36-yard line. Cockrell rolls out to his left, fires, and it's incomplete. Errico was right on top of number 2, Lenny Taylor, and it will bring up a 2nd down and 10.
Good coverage by Dan Errico. The defensive secondary for Rutgers has performed, I think, quite well throughout the season, especially when you consider that they have not been getting a good pass rush from the defensive line. They're playing aggressively. They're blitzing a little bit today. They're stunning. He's doing a lot of changing on the defensive line and at linebackers, trying to make something happen.
2nd down and 10 for the Volunteers, 36-yard line. They lead 7-0 on the short touchdown run by Jim Miller. Cockrell, straight drop back. Has time. Throws incomplete. So far today, Cockrell is not sharp. He simply overthrew Lenny Taylor in that last play. Here's first quarter statistics. and not much of a difference, except that Tennessee had better field position and they were able to capitalize.
That's pretty much the key. They've had the football a little bit longer, but not significantly. They just started out in a better position. Bill Beshner now leaving the football game. He had moved into the nose tackle position and seemed to be playing much better there than at the right tackle position.
And off goes to Johnny Jones. A big hole. He's at the 50. Jones is at the 40. Breaks the tackle, and he's at the 34-yard line. Bill Houston and Harold Young made the tackle, but Johnny Jones was in the secondary in a second.
Because when you start to blitz linebackers and send people and do some stunning, every once in a while, there you see the stunt. You see number 79, Cardillo, coming down to the inside. They picked it up. They got the block on number 41, Tyrone Stowe, and the running back, Johnny Jones, just went free and clear downfield for good yardage.
Great block in that last play by Raleigh McKenzie. Here's Jones again, puts his head down, gets 7 or 8 to the left side. Lionel Washington, Bill Houston made the tackle. The scouting report on Johnny Jones, Sam, is not so much that he has blazing speed, but when he breaks a tackle or two and he gets one-on-one with a linebacker or secondary man, he's got great shifty moves and he's tough to bring down.
Yeah, 5'10", 190 pounds. The man that he was alternating with was about 15, 20 pounds lighter. Chuck Coleman not playing today.
Second down and 3 at the 29-yard line. Tennessee on the move. Jones, first down, Moore, 22-yard line. Tackle made by Tyrone Stowe and Dan Errico.
Good block by the offensive guard, Mike Furness, on Harry Swain, number 90 for Rutgers, just a freshman. Watch number 90 get crushed in there. You see there's no pursuit from the inside. That's where number 90 should have been for Rutgers. Harry Swain closing down the hole. You just can't get wiped out and open up a gaping hole for the linebackers and the people around you to fill.
Straight up the middle, Jim Miller gets the call, takes a couple of yards on the play.
Tackle made by Beshner. Once again, he seems to be doing well when he's over the nose, when he's over the offensive center, Glenn Streno, who is also a good one. I mentioned before, this is an experienced offensive line. 4 seniors and 1 junior, but that junior started as a freshman.
Second down and 8, Volunteers, Rutgers 20-yard line. Jones, straight up the middle, big hole, 5-yard line. And Rutgers finally making the tackle in the secondary. Bill Houston made the stop. But Jones gets off the ball so quickly that he's in the secondary again.
Yeah, they pulled the right offensive guard, Bill Mayo. He trapped Jim Dumont on the play. And once Dumont was gone, that was a signal for Johnny Jones to pick up big yardage.
The best game Johnny Jones had last year was a 63-yard performance against Georgia Tech. He finished last season with 421 yards, and this year he's over that mark already. First and goal, Tennessee at the 5. Miller gets the call, and he is racked up for no gain at the line of scrimmage. Bottom of the pile, number 56, Barry Bukowski for Rutgers.
Well, the one thing that Rutgers has been able to do is not give up the big play. They've given up some big yardage on the ground, but not the 50, 60, or 70-yard touchdown play, which Tennessee had been coming up with quite often this season.
Second down and goal, Tennessee 4-yard line. Jim Miller in the backfield along with B.B. Cooper, and the tail is Johnny Jones. Cockrell fakes, rolls out, throws, interception. Bill Houston made the interception. It will come out to the 20-yard line, and Rutgers comes up with a big defensive play.
Big play by Bill Houston. Don't ask me what Alan Cockrell is thinking. His team has been moving the football. Watch him now. Fakes into the line, rolls out. No reason in the world to throw this football and force it. Obviously, he did not see Bill Houston. That's the only answer.
Rutgers will start from the 20 from Giant Stadium. This is Rutgers football on Madison Square Garden Cablevision. First and 10, Rutgers at the 20 off the interception in the end zone by Bill Houston. Lone setback is Len Beleza for Rutgers. LaPrairie on first down, rolls out. Throws to Pendergrass, has him complete, and a fumble. Tennessee looking to get the football back. And there's a big pile. Referee Joe Hicks will make the call.
Because when the quarterback rolls out like that, it puts pressure on those defensive people. What do? Do we watch LaPrairie running with the football, or do we stay in pass coverage? And it looks like Rutgers is going to keep the football. Big play.
Flag is also down on the play, Sam. You know, that's the kind of play after a fumble where there are a lot of things that go underneath that pile. A lot of things go on, don't there?
I think that, let's see what happens here. LaPrairie rolling out. He does this well. He runs well with the football. Fakes into the line. Looks like he intends to run here. Had some people fooled. He sees he has a receiver, Boris Pendergrass, downfield. I don't think he fumbled
I think it's a
until
dead ball
after
foul. I agree with you.
He did not fumble, obviously, till after he hit the ground. So,
but there is a penalty against Rutgers, and the preliminary call was ineligible receiver downfield, which is a penalty plus a loss of down. Let's wait for the call from Joe Hicks.
Have an ineligible receiver downfield, be loss of down, and 5-yard penalty. Be second down.
Okay, Joe Hicks, Southeast Conference referee, a 5-yard penalty against the Scarlet Knights. They lose the down. That is a tough penalty. 2nd and 15, Rutgers at the 15-yard line. Len Beleza is the lone setback. Beleza has some running room. He's at the 20, and Beleza crosses the 25. 1st and 15. I think the theme is not to panic. 2nd and 15. I'm sorry, Sam.
good block by Scott Drake, number 87, on the defensive end, the outside linebacker, number 54, Dale Jones. That was the key block that broke the running back.
So a pickup of 11, and it's 3rd and 4. Rutgers at the 26-yard line.
Running from the 2 tight end offense.
And only one setback in Beleza. LaPrairie play action, rolls out. He's in trouble. Breaks Reggie White's tackle, but then is pulled down. Reggie McKenzie caught up with LaPrairie, and Rutgers will have to punt on 4th down.
Trying to put some pressure on those defenders, getting LaPrairie to run with the football. Once again, a slight fake into the line, rolls out. Linebackers, what do? But look at Reggie White run him down. Now, this is a guy who's 6'4", 270 pounds, and he was step for step with Jack LaPrairie, who runs well.
4th down, Gary Liska in punt formation for Rutgers. And he hits it high, and again, not very deep. And the ball is caught by Tim McGee at the 30-yard line. 8 minutes, 29 seconds left in the first half of play. Tennessee 7, Rutgers nothing.
Now playing on ColecoVision, Mr. Do and Time Pilot, 2 of the best new arcade games for the best system made. This is Time Pilot, a battle with aircraft from the past and the future. Homing missile! Got him! Uh-oh! Blue bomber! And this is Mr. Do. Mow a path to his fruit and start picking, but don't get picked off. Powerball! Nice shot. Mr. Do and Time Pilot, now playing on ColecoVision. The best system in town keeps getting better.
W-N-E-W, Sinatra and Tommy, where all the big bands play, the place where swing was born, the home of Lena Horne. 1130 in New York, New York.
Tune in WNEW 1130, where the melody lingers on.
Back at Giant Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey, Bruce Beck and Sam DeLuca. And the Volunteers of Tennessee will have the football 1st and 10 from their own 30-yard line. So far in this football game, Tennessee with 133 total yards, Rutgers with 50. The Scarlet Knights have only 2 first downs, and Tennessee has 8. And there's a penalty being assessed against the Volunteers.
Clipping penalty against the receiving team, 15 yards.
So the Volunteers will lose 15, and they'll begin from their own 15. Lenny Taylor comes wide to the right. Clyde Duncan wide left. Johnny Jones, the tailback, behind quarterback Alan Cockrell. Cockrell hands to Jones, and Jones gets 2 or 3 yards off the right side. Bob Dumont in on the tackle for Rutgers.
Tennessee has been running with the football. Frank Burns was afraid of the big plays. In fact, at the weekly press conference, he said that it is a big play team. They had touchdowns of 57, 66, 80, and 80 yards against Georgia Tech. Against Alabama, 30, 50, 55-yard touchdowns. And one of the reporters got up and corrected Frank. He said, I think you got Georgia Tech and Alabama mixed up. And Frank looked at him incredulously, and he said, what difference does it make?
Here's Johnny Jones getting the football, breaking a tackle. Bob Dumont finally makes the stop up at the 26-yard line, and he's close to a first down. Well, that Southeastern Conference, Sam, is simply one of the best conferences overall for collegiate football.
And they seem to be taking control on the line of scrimmage. Look at that hole now. Excellent block by the offensive Senestrino on Beshner. And he isn't hit until he gets well downfield. That was Bob Dumont and Bill Houston coming in to finish him off.
And it is a first down for the Volunteers of Tennessee. And again, Cockrell wants a timeout. So Tennessee wants to talk things over with 7:27 left in the first half of play and leading 7-0. Getting back to that Southeast Conference for just a moment, 3 teams are undefeated still in conference play. Auburn, Florida, and Georgia, all 3-0. And then Tennessee and Alabama, 2-1 on the season. Throw in LSU, and that conference is simply one of the best.
It always has been a tough conference. Frank Burns was also asked at that luncheon if Tennessee was more explosive than Boston College. He thought for a moment, and he said, yes, we're playing Tennessee, aren't we? And of course, that was the expected answer. But then seriously, he said, yes, overall, he thought that they were much more explosive, capable of making the big play, not only on offense, but also on defense because of their overall team speed.
Their team speed is really one of their greatest strengths.
That is the difference. You know, offense, even the offensive line is not that much bigger than Rutgers, but they move a little bit better, a little more agile, a little quicker.
First and 10 for the Volunteers. Johnny Jones gets the pitch back, turns upfield, and he's close to another first down.
Yeah, at the start of the football game, they were running right at the middle of the defensive line for Rutgers with quick opening type plays. Now a little more action, and they're getting more to the outside. His number Cadilla breaks into the backfield, has an opportunity to come up with a big play, but couldn't quite get there. That could have been a big play for Rutgers.
First and 10, Tennessee, 37-yard line. They keep the ball on the ground. The hand is for B.B. Cooper, and he goes nowhere this time. Good pursuit by Clyde Woodley.
Yeah, the Rutgers defensive line has to get some penetration. They can't get knocked back off the line of scrimmage and cut off the pursuit of the linebackers. That's something that has plagued the team from time to time during the course of this season.
Johnny Jones already has 100 yards, and we're still with 6 minutes left in the first half. He has been the workhorse. Jones again. This time only 2 up to the 40-yard line. It'll bring up a 3rd and long for the Volunteers.
Yeah, I had mentioned at the start of the game that Tennessee had good balance on offense, only 13 yards difference between their rushing and passing. On offense, 1,348 yards rushing, 1,335 yards passing, but they had run coming into today's game almost 66% of the time. That's what's important. Okay, that you should get more yardage passing with a football, but you want to control the ball on the ground. You want to take command of the football game.
3rd and 6. Cockrell, straight drop back, steps in the pocket, throws incomplete. Cockrell has been way off so far in this first half. He is only 5 of 12 for 35 yards, and Tennessee will have to punt on 4th down.
Yeah, he's not throwing well.
And I think that wind has something to do with it. It's
definitely
swirling.
is a wind here at Giant Stadium.
I walked down on the field before the game, and there was a wind very, very much evident. James Shedneck drops back deep for the Scarlet Knights. And Jimmy Colquitt back in punt formation, a relative of Craig Colquitt of the Pittsburgh Steelers. High punt. Shedneck fumbles the fair catch. And it's fair game after that, but Rutgers recovers. 22-yard line is where Rutgers will put it in play, and James Shedneck was lucky to get this back.
Let's see if the wind has anything to do with this. Signals for the fair catch. No, the ball, well, may have shifted a little bit. It went a little bit to his left. Obviously, the punt returner, in that case, Shedneck, would like to be directly in front of the football. It may have been caught up in the wind and shifted at the last moment.
1st and 10 Rutgers, 5:39 first half of play, 7-0 Tennessee leads. Albert Smith back into the ball game as the tailback. And on first down, it's Smith. Smith off the left side, gets 4 or 5 yards. That's his best run of the afternoon. Reggie White was in there on the tackle.
Good cutback by Smith. The offensive guard, Clement Udovich, was pulling. He had gone to the outside. Smith elected not to follow his lead blocker. Broke to the inside for almost 6 yards, which is good enough in that situation.
So it's 2nd down and 5 at the 28-yard line. Prairie hands to Smith again, but this time he goes nowhere. Now there's a lot of orange and white in the crowd today. As Sam mentioned earlier, 2,500 strong came up from Knoxville for this football game. They really do take football seriously in the Southeastern Conference. 3rd down and 5 for the Scarlet Knights. Smith stopped for no gain on 2nd down. And now LaPrairie in a passing situation. LaPrairie in trouble, gets away from Reggie White, has some running room, and Jack has a first down up near the 40-yard line. Again, a heady effort on the part of quarterback LaPrairie. Carl Zander finally made the tackle.
Well, Reggie White, their All-America tackle. Look at number 92 come down to the inside. I believe that's DeGilio trying to block on him. He lets him go. It was supposed to be a screen, I guess, to the left. White all over. LaPrairie had no time to release the football, to throw it out to the left, to the running back, waiting for the screen pass, but picked up the first down on his own.
38-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Scarlet Knights. LaPrairie, straight drop back, swings it out to Albert Smith. Smith is at the 42-yard line, and he is dumped. The blitz was coming from Dale Jones, right outside linebacker. He got in there very quickly, but again, LaPrairie gets it off.
Watch the pressure on LaPrairie, number 54, red-shirted freshman, all over him. Leaps up, excuse me, and throws to Albert Smith, his only chance on the play. Smith either had to pick up that blitzing linebacker, or LaPrairie had to release the football to him. They made the second decision, and it worked.
A pickup of 3, 2nd down and 7 for the Scarlet Knights at the 42. LaPrairie on a long count. Hands to Smith. And, excuse me, that's Vernon Williams. And Williams gets to the 44-yard line. It will bring up a 3rd down and about 4 yards to go.
Well, they said that number 92, Reggie White, was a dominating force. He's a minister. They call him the Minister of Defense. He came from the other side and made the tackle on that play.
You know, Johnny Majors said of Reggie White, he is to Tennessee's defense what Tony Dorsett was to the Pitt offense when he coached at Pitt.
That's some statement to make about a defensive lineman, isn't it?
Yes, it is. 3rd and 4. LaPrairie throws, caught by Alan Andrews, and he should have a first down. Jack Kofer made the stop, but Andrews, who usually knows where that first down marker is, hauled it in.
Good play by Alan Andrews. This time he has the concentration, does not drop the football. You can't get any better coverage than this. See 2 men blocking on Reggie White. Also had to move to the outside for the football. Held onto it with his arms outstretched and the defensive back clutching onto him.
LaPrairie 6 of 9. Rutgers first down at the 50. 3 minutes left, first half. Tennessee 7, Rutgers nothing. Albert Smith, big hole, 5 yards.
Good. We're going to have to see more of that, more cutting back against the grain. When you have a quick, agile defensive group as Tennessee has, you've got to rely on some overreaction, over pursuit. Look at everyone moving to the left. That's where the play was designed to go. Smith breaks it back to his left and overpowers the rather undersized inside linebacker Carl Zander for an extra yard or 2. Good play by Smith.
2nd down and 5 at the 45. 2:25 remaining. 2nd quarter. LaPrairie throws. Pendergrass dropped it. Another one of the plays that the receiver had the football and just let it go.
Rutgers moving the football, and they would have been in much better stead had he held on to that, obviously. You can't drop passes. That's one of the things that Johnny Majors said when asked if this was his best football team at Tennessee. He says yes. He was reluctant at that time to say it was the best. I hear he later said it to you, Bruce, but he said yes, they're a fine football team when we don't drop the football and make other silly mistakes.
3rd and 5. LaPrairie looks. Pendergrass has this one, and he has a first down at the Tennessee 35-yard line.
Prairie's on target. He's throwing as well as we've seen him throw all year. Once again, Boris Pendergrass out as a split end on the left, is downfield, breaks toward the middle, comes back toward the football. Okay, number 14, I believe that is, that's Terry Brown, a freshman. They've got 2 freshmen in that defensive secondary and 2 sophomores.
First down, Scarlet Knights, Tennessee 35. 2 minutes left in the second quarter of play, and Albert Smith carries a couple of people down to the 30 and picks up 5 more.
I think the importance of balance once again becoming evident. You throw the football a few times and it starts to loosen up those linebackers, and the safeties don't come up quite as quickly, and then you can run the football a little more effectively. Frank Burns somewhat happier at this point.
Second down and 5 at the 30. 1:29 left first half. Rutgers trails 7-0. LaPrairie.
Good protection. Was.
Fires, incomplete, and intercepted. Picked off by Charles Davis. Davis
is going.
Reverses field. He's at the 30. And finally is tackled by Albert Smith and Jack LaPrairie at the 35-yard line. Davis's 3rd interception of the season, and Tennessee gets the football back. The Volunteers lead it 7-0. And from Giant Stadium, this is Rutgers football on Madison Square Garden Cablevision.
That brings legends to living rooms in the world of sports now also presents diversified entertainment programming, including classic television spy adventures with Patrick McNee and Diana Rigg in The Avengers, trendsetters of the art, fashion, and music world on Andy Warhol's TV, and some of the biggest names in the entertainment world with The Jonathan Schwartz Show, all on the Madison Square Garden Network. Consult your local listings for time and channel or contact your local cable system.
Keep up to date on all the high school action in the metropolitan area each week on the Daily News High School Sports Show. Hi, I'm Bruce Beck. Join Bill Travers and me on Madison Square Garden Cablevision every Monday night at 7 p.m. with repeat telecast Wednesday and Friday evenings, also at 7 p.m. Highlights, rankings, features, and much more on the Daily News High School Sports Show.
Had a block below the waist by the defensive team, be 1st and 10.
Well, you heard it from Joe Hicks. 1:10 remaining in this first half of play, and Tennessee stops a Rutgers drive. Charles Davis from New Paltz High School in New Paltz, New York, who leads the secondary with 3 interceptions, pulled that one down, and Tennessee has the football with 1:10 to go in the half. Johnny Jones on first down has been the workhorse for Tennessee, and he gets 3 off the left side.
You know, their quarterback, Alan Cockrell, had a serious knee injury his freshman year, and I think that Eric Hochberg can take heart in Cockrell's return, because when he had sustained that injury, very similar to the one that Eric Hochberg had for Rutgers earlier in the year against Penn State, there were many people thought that his career would be finished. He's made, obviously, a good recovery.
40 seconds left first half. Cockrell keeps the ball on the ground, and Jones continues to carry. Jones has been the workhorse throughout this first half of play. He's carried the football 18 times for 112 yards. Rutgers called a timeout with 26 seconds in this second quarter of play, and Rutgers hoping to get the football back with good field position, obviously.
Of course, with time running out here in the first half, Tennessee on the scoreboard, leading Rutgers 7-0. No time for foolish mistakes, okay, or to go for the big play and perhaps cause the turnover and allow Rutgers to get on the scoreboard before the end of the half. That's one of the reasons they haven't been throwing. I would imagine another reason why the Tennessee coaches have elected to stay on the ground is the fact that Cockrell has not been throwing well here in the first half, and I do believe the wind is against him at this point.
There's Johnny Majors, head coach of Tennessee, 7th season, and what a tremendous career he has had. Of course, the head coach at Pittsburgh when they won the national championship back in 1976. He was also the head coach for many seasons for Iowa State. That was from 68 to 72. Majors says this is simply the best football team he's ever had at Tennessee, and he says we can play with anybody. 3rd and 3, Jones to the outside has a first down. Phil Houston finally made the hit at the 27-yard line, and with 21 seconds left in this first half of play, Tennessee looks like they will go into the locker room with at least a 7-point lead.
And that's another reason why Tennessee has elected to stay on the ground here at the end of the half. They have been running with the football effectively and once again came up with a first down.
10 seconds left in the first half. Alan Cockrell has not had much of a first half, 5 for 12. Jones gets the call, runs into Tyrone Stowe and gets to the 32-yard line, and that should do it. We expected offense, and we got mostly defense.
I would have thought perhaps on that last play that they might have put the football in the air because they certainly had better field position.
So at halftime, the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers very much in the football game. The Volunteers of Tennessee kick off, the junior from Miami, Florida, who had such a marvelous season a year ago. He hit field goals of 50 yards or further. He was 8 for 10 and 40 yards to 50 yards, 13 of 17, as Sam alluded to it earlier, set NCAA records in the process. Revez drills this one out of the end zone. Danny Errico watches that ball, and if you were in a punt, pass, and kick competition, that one would have gone 80 yards.
Well, he has kicked a 60-yard field goal against Georgia Tech. He has twice kicked 5 field goals in a game, but not having as good a year this year as he did last year. He has already missed 6 field goals this season. Remember, last year he was 8 of 10 out of over 50 yards, 13 of 17 over 40 yards.
Rutgers averaging just under 3.5 yards per pop on first down. Scarlet Knights from the 20, 1st and 10, lone setback Vernon Williams, and Williams gets the handoff and is sliced down at the line of scrimmage.
That's where it's tough to run against Tennessee because of the size of that defensive unit. We had mentioned it's not very big, averaging about 223 pounds along the front 7, but exceptional quickness and speed, tough to run to the outside.
2nd down and 10, Johnny Majors, head coach of the Volunteers, along with his coaching staff working the sidelines. Rutgers has won consecutive games over Colgate and William and Mary, trying to even up their record at 4-4 on the season. LaPrairie keeps the ball on the ground, and Albert Smith breaks the tackle, knocks over a couple of people, and there's that upper body strength of Albert Smith. He is up close to the first down, close to the 30-yard line. Terry Brown and Charles Davis made the stop.
Okay, reason for you to get excited over the play of Albert Smith, but watch number 72, John Owens, trap on Dale Long. Number 54, he just upends him and then doesn't quit, stays on his hands and turns that body around to prevent any pursuit on the part of Dale Jones. Outstanding play by John Owens, the right offensive guard for Rutgers.
First down for Rutgers at the 30. Smith, again, carrying a couple of people with him, gets up to the 33. Johnny Williams, the nose guard, a senior from Knoxville, made the stop.
Williams had been around for 3 years now as senior, just a utility man in his prior seasons. Not very big, 6 feet, 232 pounds, but again, he showed us good quickness getting to the outside from his nose tackle position.
Smith, 4.2 yards per carry so far in the afternoon. 2nd and 5, Rutgers at the 35. Smith is a lone setback. LaPrairie rolls out. Owens in front of him. Throws complete to Baker. First down, Rutgers. First catch of the afternoon for Andrew Baker, who is averaging 27.5 yards per reception.
Yeah, only had one last week, but that was a big one, which went for 54 yards against William and Mary. Once again, LaPrairie seems to throw better when he's rolling out. A left-handed quarterback rolling to the left. Waits for Baker to come open as he approaches the sideline. Right on target. LaPrairie throwing well today. Now 8 for 13.
47-yard line, 1st and 10 Rutgers, just underway third quarter. Tennessee leads it 7-0. Smith gets a couple of yards. Tackle made by Mark Studaway and Dale Jones.
Tried to run the same play that went for good yardage before, with John Owens pulling out, trying to trap block on Dale Jones. That time he didn't get a clean block, but still not bad yardage. Well, not excessively good yardage either for Rutgers on that first down play. They got about 2.5 on the play.
There's Albert Smith taking a couple of deep breaths, trying to get back into the football game. It's 2nd and 7. Ball just shy of the 50. Smith, straight up the middle. Knocks a couple of people over, carries Dale Jones and Mark Studaway with him. And Albert Smith, again, right up near that first down marker, just a little bit short.
Let's see what kind of a hole he gets. You see the cross blocking there. DiGilio to his left, Udovich behind him, trapping on the defensive tackle. Smith going right up the middle for good yardage. Key block by Udovich.
3rd and 1. The ball at the 44 of Tennessee. Smith, stop. Loss of a yard or two on the play. Reggie White came busting through, and Dale Jones was there as well. And Rutgers will have to punt on 4th down.
Yeah, normally we see Clement Udovich doing a lot of pulling for Rutgers. This time they're trying to run away from Reggie White, so they're pulling their right guard, John Owens. They went with the same play that was successful on the first play on that series. That time they, however, did not make the first down.
Liska back at his own 40. And he sails a beauty this time. Rutgers may get it down, but it takes a Rutgers bounce into the end zone, and Tennessee will start from their own 20-yard line. 1st and 10 with 11 minutes and 15 seconds left in the third quarter, and the Volunteers leading it by 7.
Sometimes nothing looks better than the high interest rate of a CD until you see a higher rate. But by then, your money's locked up. Now Manufacturers Hanover introduces the account that sets your money free. It's our new Market Plus with Ready Rate. Not only does it offer very high interest, but if a better investment comes along, it actually lets you get the money to take advantage of it. Manufacturers Hanover. Our facts make your money worth more.
I admit it. I overdid it. I went that extra mile.
For all you overdoers who push your bodies a bit too far, there's Bufferin.
I admit it. I overdid it. I kicked like a cheerleader. Now I could kick myself.
For all your minor aches and pains, there's Bufferin.
Bufferin has aspirin, the pain reliever so many sports doctors recommend. Plus, it's buffered to help protect against aspirin stomach upset.
I admit it. I overdid it. I didn't win. But I won't be a sore loser.
Bufferin, for when you overdo.
First down Volunteers, 20-yard line. Alan Cockrell on first down, hands to Johnny Jones. Jones gets a couple of yards off the left side. Jones was the workhorse in the first half, had 20 carries for 126 yards.
And you can see that Rutgers is intent on stopping him. The safeties are playing tight, and you saw almost 11 men around the ball carrier on that last play. I would attempt to cut off the run and almost invite Cockrell to pass. He has not been throwing well here today, and the wind may be a factor.
Cockrell back to throw, fires, complete, and dumped immediately is Clyde Duncan by Carl Howard, short of a first down. It will be 3rd and a yard and a half.
Rutgers' defensive secondary has much more experience than the Tennessee secondary, going with 2 freshmen and 2 sophomores, and of course that experience is a great factor, especially in zone coverage. If you've got the ability and you're playing man coverage, then the experience is not all important. But if you're in zone coverages, as both teams are, it is a factor.
3rd and a yard. Cockrell, option, keeps it. Has the first down over the 30-yard line, up near the 31. Harold Young came up from the secondary to make the stop. There's Cockrell, last year, threw for 2,021 yards.
Rutgers playing quite a few freshmen today also. We mentioned the freshmen in the secondary for Tennessee, but Jerome Foster has played, and Harry Swain on defense, and also, of course, the linebacker Tyrone Stowe.
A couple of the fans bundled up The wind on the far side is tough today. Quick swing pass to Clyde Duncan, and he is hit hard. The ball is loose. And it looks like it's out of bounds, and Tennessee will keep possession.
I believe it was Dan Errico who came up and really made an outstanding play. He's the guy that made the tackle and forced the fumble. Let's watch this now. This is a quick screen. You'll see two offensive linemen out there trying to get out there anyway. Duncan has the football, and that is Errico, number 20, that comes up. And, of course, Jim Dumont is the guy that finishes him off and forces the fumble.
When you see the ball rolling over there and you know you have to keep it before it goes out of bounds, is it difficult to just tiptoe over there and save it?
I don't know. I was an offensive player, but I imagine it is.
You know, you see it, you just want to go and react.
Of course. You got to react to the football.
Illegal use of the hands is the call against Rutgers. You think about it, Sam, and you say, if no one's around, I'm going to walk over there quietly and pick it up, but it's tough to do.
Well, that's a mistake that you see so often. We saw it on a Monday night game, I think, not too long ago. Somebody trying to pick up the football instead of just falling on top of it, making sure that you get possession of it. Because when you try to pick it up, you know, you're just inviting disaster. Someone coming along and grabbing it from you or hitting you as you reach for the football.
Holding. Defensive holding against Rutgers, 5-yard penalty. It will be 1st and 5 for the Volunteers at the 36. Tennessee plays their home games at Nyland Stadium in Knoxville. It holds 91,249 people. The second largest college stadium in the country. The first Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor.
95,000 people. That's a number that really is hard to imagine.
Sam, for the Pittsburgh game, even though they say they seat 91 and change, they had 95,824.
Gosh, you know, and Johnny Majors mentioned that at the luncheon on Tuesday when asked about the program at Tennessee. One of the things that he mentioned prominently was the facilities. He said they had good practice facilities and, of course, the stadium, and that's so terribly important in trying to attract good freshmen, good senior high school football players to the school. When you can show them pictures of a stadium that holds 95,000 screaming fans, I guess it has some appeal to a high school kid.
First down, 5 yards to go, Volunteers. Play action pass. Cockrell has a man wide open in Lenny Taylor, and he overthrew him. He simply overthrew Taylor, who had cleanly beat Dan Errico and had no one within 5 yards of him.
Boy, he was all alone downfield. Of course, Tennessee lost 3 outstanding world-class sprinters at the wide receiver spots last year. They lost Willie Gauld, Mike Miller, and Darrell Wilson. There you see the fake into the line. Someone was beaten badly downfield. Didn't get the number. Well, let's see.
It was Errico.
Errico, I see Carl Howard coming up. He just lost sight of the football as it was overthrown.
Jones on 2nd and 5. Stopped by Jim Dumont. Short of a first down. And there's number 53 again.
All over the place. Every game for Rutgers. The 3 wide receivers that he lost last year, of course, Willie Gauld, who was the number 1 draft choice of the Bears. Darrell Wilson, who is the number 2 draft choice of the Patriots, and Miller, Mike Miller, who was the number 4 draft choice of Green Bay, now with the Giants. So he lost 3 outstanding wide receivers.
3rd and a yard. Jones, first down, and he's up to the 47. Bob Dumont made the tackle. Johnny Jones, a junior from Mumford, Tennessee, had 3 touchdowns coming into today's game and 456 yards, and he's really pouring it on today.
Coming from the deep position in that I formation, they run primarily out of the I. Bob Dumont had a shot at him, could have thrown him, well, not thrown him, but kept him from picking up the extra 3 or 4 yards on the play.
Cockrell, quick drop back, throws, and it's intercepted by Carl Howard at the 42-yard line. The ball bounced out of the arms of Clyde Duncan, might have ricocheted off his shoulder pad, and right into the hands of Carl Howard. Rutgers has a break at the 42. 8 minutes and 34 seconds left in the 3rd quarter of play, and Tennessee leads it 7-0, but Rutgers gets the football back. Rutgers with excellent field position. 8:34, third quarter. Tennessee 7, Rutgers 0. 1st and 10, Scarlet Knights. LaPrairie pitches out to Smith, and he is dropped. Hit hard by Dale Jones, and also in on the tackle, All-American, the Minister of Defense, Reggie White.
Well, he is an outstanding football player. Quickness, speed, agility, and of course the size and the strength to go along with it. 6'5", 264 pounds. Majors says he's the finest defensive lineman he's ever seen, and certainly the finest he's ever coached.
Compares him to Leroy Selman when he was at Oklahoma, who won the Outland Trophy that year. 2nd down and 8. LaPrairie sprints out. Owens throws a good block. The pass complete to Alan Andrews. LaPrairie rolled left, threw against the grain, and Andrews has it at the 47-yard line, and it should be enough for a Rutgers first down.
That's the 3rd reception today for Alan Andrews for 22 yards. Pendergrass also has 3 for Rutgers. LaPrairie having a good day now, 9 for 14. Not much yardage, however. 67 yards. Has thrown 1 interception, which was on a tipped ball.
1st and 10, Tennessee 47-yard line. Tennessee now goes to a 4-4 look defensively. On 1st down, it's Albert Smith, and he is stopped cold at the line of scrimmage. Tackle was made by number 42, Joe Kofer, the sophomore from Knoxville, who came up from a strong safety position. Kofer, whose brother Mike, by the way, was drafted by the New Jersey Generals last year.
Yeah, he was an inside linebacker last year. In fact, he led the Tennessee team in tackles with 107, somewhat undersized, 6'1", 195 pounds. That's why they switched him to strong safety.
His brother Mike plays with the Lions of the NFL, even though he was drafted by the Generals as well. LaPrairie, straight drop back, throws for Baker, and Baker has it and drops it. And it is an incomplete pass.
Well, I wouldn't say that he dropped it. The ball was tugged out of his arms. LaPrairie had thrown into a crowd. There were 3 defenders in the area, and really a very tough catch for Andrew Baker. Watch this now. You see Reggie White once again with 2 men, beating 2 men, putting pressure on LaPrairie. I don't know how he found Baker there, but you see that he never had a chance to tuck the football away, as 3 Tennessee defenders were all over him.
Terry Brown helped rip that ball out of the hands of Andrew Baker. Rutgers on 3rd and 8 from the 45. Straight drop back, LaPrairie in trouble, lofts it high in the air, and it's incomplete. That was a real dangerous pass intended for Scott Drake, and Alvin Tolles was all over Drake. And lucky for LaPrairie, the ball was incomplete.
It's just not getting any pass protection, and of course, Rutgers has not been putting a rush on the Tennessee quarterback, Alan Cockrell. That's the thing that was obviously lacking in their effort last week against William & Mary.
4th down, Gary Liska waits for it at his own 40. Dropping back deep for Tennessee, number 88, Tim McGee. McGee, fair catch. Rutgers will get this one. Mercer Hedgeman has it at the 3. And Tennessee will start from their own, well, they'll spot it at the 5-yard line. 1st and 10 Volunteers, leading by 7 with 6:27 left in the 3rd quarter, and from Giant Stadium. This is Rutgers football on Madison Square Garden Cablevision.
It brings legends to living rooms in the world of sports. Now also presents diversified entertainment programming, including classic television spy adventures with Patrick McNee and Diana Rigg in The Avengers, trendsetters of the art, fashion, and music world on Andy Warhol's TV, and some of the biggest names in the entertainment world with The Jonathan Schwartz Show, all on the Madison Square Garden Network. Consult your local listings for time and channel, or contact your local cable system.
Catch all the excitement of big-time college football each week when Madison Square Garden Cablevision presents all the highlights of 2 of Eastern football's major powers. Every game of the defending national champion Nittany Lions of Penn State is highlighted each week on MSG Cablevision, as well as every game of their cross-state rivals, the Pitt Panthers. Check your local listings for time and day, Penn State and Pitt highlight shows. It's all part of the college football scene this season on Madison Square Garden Cablevision.
First down, Volunteers of Tennessee. 6:27 left, third quarter. And a first down, B.B. Cooper goes straight up the middle. Cooper, a 5'6" junior, playing today because of injuries to three performers in the backfield: Sam Henderson, Randall Morris, and Chuck Coleman.
But when you say that he's 5'6", you must also say that he weighs 196 pounds, because that can be very misleading. He's a fullback.
A Don Nottingham type player.
He's even shorter. He's old Buddy Young, the recently departed Buddy Young. Of course, not Buddy Young was very light, not nearly as heavy as this fellow.
On second down, the give is to Jones, and he is sacked up by a fired-up Rutgers defense. Clyde Woodley, Bob Dumont, Carl Howard, all there to greet Jones.
Rutgers doing a fine job defensively. They gave up quite a bit of yardage on the ground in the first half, but here in the second half, they have done well in containing that running attack. They have 162 yards on the ground, does Tennessee. Only 41 yards in the air for a total of 203 yards. Rutgers 84 rushing, 60 passing for a total of 144 yards.
And off to Jones, and he breaks a tackle, but he's, well, very close to a first down. Lionel Washington finally made the stop. Jones was really stopped for a loss in that one, Sam, and he broke it.
Yeah, you've got to have the gang tackling, the pursuit, the swarm, call it what you will, but you've got to have more than one tackler on a runner like Jones. You see him hit there, runs into his own man. Nobody really had a shot at him. Somebody got lost. I think that's Lionel Washington grasping for him, number 99 for Rutgers, and eventually bringing him down.
First down, Tennessee. Big difference. Instead of punting from the end zone, they have a 1st and 10 at the 17. 5:09, third quarter. Tennessee 7-0. Here's Jones. Looking to get to the outside, but guess who? Jim Dumont made the stop.
Yeah, that's where Tennessee has made most of its yardage, running to the outside. Rutgers has done a pretty good job of stopping them from tackle to tackle. And they continue to move people around on that defensive unit. Now Cadilla goes out of the football game, but I've got to believe that he has some sort of an injury. He's playing with his left leg and moving it up and down. Sagnello comes into the game, replacing Cadilla.
Second down, 7, Tennessee, 19-yard line. Jones looking to break a tackle, gets up to the 28-yard line, has a first down, and runs it to Bill Houston and Bob Dumont. Jones continues to be the workhorse. That was his 27th carry of the afternoon, and he is up to 162 yards.
You know, when you're trying to formulate a game plan, you look for offensive strengths and defensive weaknesses, and you try to run at the weaknesses. Obviously, the strength of the Tennessee defense is their tackle, Reggie White, but when you look at their offensive line, it looks to me as if they can run almost anywhere. They have no weaknesses along that offensive line.
Straight up the middle, Jones this time gets nothing. Of course, Glenn Streno, the center, is an All-American candidate. He played in the shadow of All-SEC center Lee North for his first 2 seasons at Tennessee, but came into his own as a junior last year, and this season the young man from Pittsburgh considered an All-American.
Yeah, he had played guard when North was playing center. The offensive line, according to Majors, he thought was a weakness the last few years, and now, of course, they have the experience and the strength, and they're it is the team's strong point.
Second down and 8. Jones, right side, runs it to Jeff Cardilla, and he only picks up 3. You know what else about the offensive line I thought was interesting? 2 players, Kurt Singer, who's from Alquippa, Pennsylvania, and Glenn Streno from Pittsburgh, both from Johnny Major's old stomping ground.
Well, I imagine he still has some weight up there. And,
I would think so.
When he goes into recruit, it may mean something.
Third down, and call it 5. Tennessee at their own 33. Rutgers with 7 men on the line of scrimmage. Cockrell options to Jones, and he is stopped. Lionel Washington made the big defensive play with some help from Bill Fechner.
Big play by the Rutgers defense. We had said that Tennessee had been highly successful on third down plays, converting 62% of their third down plays. This is a big one for Rutgers. Fakes, pitches out, and look at Lionel Washington wrapping him up there, along with some help from number 41, the freshman linebacker Tyrone Stowe.
Jimmy Colquitt back in punt formation, averaging 44 yards on the season, but only 33.5 yards today. And he doesn't hit this one. He hits it off the side of his foot, and Rutgers will get the ball somewhere near midfield.
Well, that's a break for Rutgers. I don't believe in momentum, but certainly they've got to be thinking that, hey, we can play with these guys. They've got good field position and an opportunity to get right back into this football game, trailing just 7-0 with 2:07 remaining here in the third quarter.
A 17-yard punt.
Gosh, and they're supposed to have one of the best kicking games, or the best kicking game in the country. That's what Frank Burns indicated at the luncheon. Not only the punter and the field goal kicker, but he thought they had excellent coverage on all of their kick teams.
48-yard line of Rutgers, 1st and 10. Vernon Williams gets a couple of yards and runs it to Reggie White.
Well, he's all over the field. It's hard to believe that a defensive lineman can be that dominating, but he has been today.
This is what some of the people say about Reggie. Pittsburgh All-American Bill Fralick, he's definitely one of the best ones I've ever faced. LSU offensive tackle Lance Smith. Every down he plays real hard. Pat Dye of Auburn. Reggie White is a true All-American. 2nd down and 8 at the 50. Back to throw LaPrairie, complete to Andrews at the 44-yard line, short of a 1st down. Sam, I just wanted to add one other quote. Ray Perkins said this one. I thought it was very funny. I haven't seen anyone block him yet.
And Reggie White said, I know I have to play well if I'm going to help my family financially by playing pro ball. And that's okay, I guess, but he should have said, I want to play well because I want to be the best football player that I can be, and if I play pro ball and make some money, you know, I'll help out my family. It should have been in that order.
3rd and 2, Rutgers at the 44 of Tennessee. LaPrairie to Smith, in trouble. Reggie White nails him. A loss of 6, and Reggie White just corraled Albert Smith.
Okay, that was over on the left sideline, or the left side of the Rutgers offense. Reggie White plays left defensive end, which means he's on the outside of the right side of the Rutgers offense, came all the way across the field to make that tackle.
4th down. Liska in punt formation. And he sails a beauty. Fair catch called for and made at the 5-yard line by Tim McGee. The last one he let go was down at the 5. This time he decides to catch the football, and he gets nothing better.
Good punt. Of course, they're starting in a hole, Tennessee is, and let's see if Rutgers can stop them once again, as they have on the first 2 times that Tennessee had the football in the second half. And we talked about some of the changes that Johnny Majors has made, and of course Frank Burns has moved people around, but that really is the test of a coach. How do you utilize your talent?
1st and 10 from the 5-yard line of Tennessee. Cockrell, Johnny Jones, straight up the middle. Jim Dumont made the tackle at the 8. And that should do it for the 3rd quarter of play. There are only 12 seconds left. Tennessee scored the game's only touchdown in the 1st quarter at the 3:02 mark. A short run by Miller, Jim Miller, and that was it. And that's the way the football game has remained. So the score, Tennessee 7, Rutgers nothing. We still have 15 minutes of football left, so don't go away. Beautiful afternoon for football. Giant Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey. The Volunteers of Tennessee lead the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers 7-0. And we still have a good 15 minutes to play. 2nd down and 7 for Tennessee from their own 8.
I think there are some surprised Tennessee fans here today. They were about 16, 17-point favorites coming into today's game.
Cockrell rolls to his left, and he'll keep the football. Cockrell fumbles it out of bounds. That's the 2nd time today he's gained 3 or 4 yards by fumbling the football, and Tennessee will have a 1st down up near the 18.
Overall, Rutgers defense has played well today. That had been the team's weakness, as Frank Burns indicated during the week. When a quarterback can run with a football, it puts tremendous pressure on that defense. See him going to the outside. That's Tyrone Stowe, number 41. Hard to tell. Maybe it was Butch Young coming up underneath that forced the fumble.
Cockrell on the season has carried the ball 31 times for minus 30 yards. He's audibilizing again at the line of scrimmage on first down. Johnny Jones cuts to the outside, runs into Tyrone Stowe, gets to the 22-yard line. A pickup of 4 on the play. It will be 2nd down and 6.
Whatever Rutgers has been doing defensively, it certainly has worked. We indicated before they keep changing people. Now you see some other people coming in. That's number 95, Tyrone Stowe, coming back into the football game along with, and Beshner now goes out.
He's really moving that defensive unit around. He's changing all the time. Now Rutgers puts 6 men up, and Tyrone Stowe finally drops back. 2nd down, Johnny Jones, and he is cut down at the 25 by Tyrone Stowe and by Jeff Curdilla. It will bring up a 3rd down and 3.
Trying to get some speed, I guess, on that defensive unit. And he puts number 90 in the football game. And now you see Barry Bukowski coming out, number 90, Harry Swain coming in the game, Beshner coming back in the game, and 95, Clyde Woodley leaving.
Could you keep track of this? I'm going to quiz you a little bit later.
But you really don't have to keep track. I'm just trying to point out that they are doing some things defensively, which obviously have worked.
Cockrell back to throw on 3rd down, swings it out to B.B. Cooper. 1st down, breaks the tackle, and B.B. is up to the 39-yard line.
That was individual effort on the part of B.B. Cooper that perhaps got him the 1st down and then some additional yardage. When you move people in and out like that, it sort of breaks the rhythm of the offensive linemen also. They can't get into a confrontation or a battle. Starts a roll slightly to his left, finds B.B. Cooper all alone. This is Harold Young. He's spotting Cooper, about 35 pounds, doesn't get a clean shot at him. Why did Bill Houston go over the top? I guess he thought B.B. Cooper was going down.
1st and 10, Volunteers, 40-yard line. Cockrell flags down the play. And he'll keep the ball and go down near the line of scrimmage. Jim Dumont made the stop, but there are flags down on the play, and they were thrown very close to the beginning of the play. I believe a legal procedure will be called against Tennessee.
Of course, what he's doing, basically, Frank Burns and Ted Cottrell with that defensive unit, is trying to get the most out of the personnel available. If you've got somebody who's big and strong and should be tough against the run, like Bill Beshner, who stands 6'2" and 270, then you put him in when you expect a short yardage play and you expect them to run. And you put your faster man in when you want to get the pass rush, Harry Swain or Clyde Woodley.
Here are the total stats through 3 quarters of play.
The difference is always the rushing yardage. To me, Bruce, that is always the key to a football game. That and time of possession, and the two normally go hand in hand. It's much safer, and both teams have been burned today when they put the ball in the air and were intercepted.
Procedure against the offense, 5 yards, still 1st down.
5-yard penalty assessed against the Volunteers, back to the 35.
Jim Dumont left the field with some assistance. I'll bet you he comes back, however.
We've seen him do that almost every week. When you play that hard,
of course, he's getting racked up. He's punishing his body. That's what they call it.
1st down, 15. Cockrell, draw, Johnny Jones, big hole, and he gets 11 back. Bob Dumont made the tackle. Jones is up to the 46. It'll bring up 2nd down and 4. Here comes Jim Dumont.
There he comes. You knew he'd be back, and they certainly need him because that last play went for good yardage. Rutgers' intent on getting a pass rush, generating a pass rush, one of the reasons for all those changes on the defensive line and that linebacker to try to get the pass rush.
Somebody said to me at halftime, isn't it easy when Rutgers is playing defense to announce all you have to say every time is Jim Dumont?
And when he's not there, Brother Bob is.
2nd down, pitch out to Jones. He is racked up, but he has a 1st down, but there are flags down again, back in the offensive backfield.
You know, I think we're going to see more and more of this in the college game. Situation substitutions. Of course, Rutgers doing it. Let's hear the official's call. Well, he's not going to tell us this time. That's the preliminary signal. We may hear the one that will come in just a moment. But anyway, I think that situation substitutions will be more prevalent in the college game. There's really no reason not to use your best people at the most opportune time, which is all it amounts to. Putting in the good pass rusher when you're pretty sure that the offense is going to pass. Let's hear the call.
Here's Joe Hicks, the referee from the Southeast Conference.
Holding against the offense, 10 yards.
Can you tell he's from the Southeast Conference?
And you know, the argument against the situation substitutions at the college level is the fact that the quarterback can run with the ball or runs more often. it just doesn't hold water. The people in the football game at those times are just as able to contain the quarterback as anyone else.
Jones on 2nd and 14 is racked up. Tyrone Stowe, Bill Beshner, Harry Swain.
Good job by Beshner. Much better at the nose tackle spot. That's his spot. He can't play tackle because the last few weeks against William & Mary and Colgate, he hurt them at the defensive tackle spot. He was getting turned and pinned. Perhaps he tried to come back too quickly from that arthroscopic surgery, but certainly he seems more at home at the nose tackle spot.
Jim Miller back in. B.B. Cooper gets a breather. So now it's Miller and Jones in the backfield. 3rd down, 13 at the 37. Cockrell in trouble, and he is sacked by Clyde Woodland.
Okay, you can look down at the sidelines and see how much that sack meant to the Rutgers team. Not only the sack itself, which was a big play, but when something that you've worked on all week pays off. They wanted to get the rush. Watch the pass rush. This could ignite a team. It builds confidence. That's what I'm talking about. No momentum, just confidence. Hey, we can play with these guys. We wanted to get the rush, and we got it.
7-0 Tennessee leads, still in the 4th quarter.
If you're just looking for a small car, your choice is very large. But if you're looking for a small car with advanced front-wheel drive engineering, your choice is more limited. And if you're looking for a small car that's also very sporty and maneuverable, you'll find it reassuring to look at this one. Skyhawk, the first car to succeed at being both small and Buick at the same time.
Wouldn't you really rather have a Buick?
By the way, I just opened a resource management account with Payne Weber.
Well, I've had an account like that for years.
My canceled checks are returned automatically.
Merrill Lynch.
As a card holder, I'm offered a $10,000 line of credit.
I wish Dean Witter had that.
And the securities in my account are insured up to $10 million.
10 mils?
Open a Payne Weber resource management account, and you could be saying,
thank you, Payne Weber.
4th and 18. The Volunteers have to punt it away. Again, Colquitt hits a poor punt. James Shedneck takes it at the 30. Breaks the tackle. He's at the 45 and up to the 49-yard line. And perhaps, as Sam mentioned a moment ago, the defense can ignite the special teams and the offense, but hold everything. A flag down at the Rutgers 34. And it's a clip against Rutgers. That will bring this one back all the way to the Rutgers 20 or so.
See, that's why I don't believe in momentum. See, momentum occurs or exists when a team does not make errors for a prolonged period of time. But that is subject to change, you know, on any play. And certainly this one hurts Rutgers now. They would have had excellent field position.
That's clipping on the run back, 15 yards, first down.
So Rutgers will start now from the 19 instead of the 47. In essence, they lose 28 yards. There's Jones being attended to on the Tennessee sideline. LaPrairie leads out Rutgers. 10:30 left in the football game. Tennessee 7, Rutgers nothing. LaPrairie back to throw on first down. In trouble, gets the pass off, and it is caught by Baker. Baker is down at the Tennessee 49-yard line. Jack LaPrairie was really punished back at the 10, but that was just one of those Cinderella plays by Baker.
Well, if Jack LaPrairie tries to tell us that they work on that play, and Andrew Baker tells us that his name was written on the football, I say, phooey, this was just luck. LaPrairie obviously should not have thrown the football, but he was under tremendous pressure, as you'll see in a moment. Doesn't see it. Yeah, not his fault at all, because he really didn't see Reggie White coming from the other side, but pure luck.
Rutgers first down at the Tennessee 49-yard line. Albert Smith straight up the middle. LaPrairie says, let's regain some sanity, give the ball to a tailback and get 4 yards.
Big break for Rutgers. Of course, they still have to capitalize on it now, and if they can get a little more yardage on the ground, it certainly would help matters. To this point, they have 86 yards rushing, 62 yards passing. Coming into today's game, they had done exceptionally well over their last 3 games on the ground.
Second down 7, ball at the 46 of Tennessee. The Prairie appears to be okay. He was really hit hard by Reggie White in that long pass play. Here comes Reggie again. He smashes the Prairie, who tries to swing it to Len Beleza. And the Prairie is some tough customer. He's 6'2", 205, but he has taken now on 3 plays tremendous pounding from Reggie White, who's 6'6", 264.
Again, the screen pass setting up to the right, but you've got to hit the defensive people before you go out onto that screen, especially a guy like Reggie White, who was so quick. He came off that ball so quickly and was on La Prairie before he had an opportunity to release it.
3rd and 7 at the 46 of Tennessee. 9:18 left to play. La Prairie rolls out. He'll keep it. And he goes down short of the first down at the 43. Tackle made by Alvin Tolles and Carl Zander.
And that's where that speed, we mentioned that the Tennessee defense is not very big, but very, very fast. The 2 inside linebackers, only 206 and 203 pounds. The outside linebackers a little bigger. Holt 218, Dale Jones. No, he's just 204 pounds, so it's hard to run to the outside. And of course, makes it more difficult for your quarterback when he's running with a football, when the defensive people are all as fast and no bigger than the quarterback.
Well, Rutgers has called timeout, and obviously, Sam, they want to go for it on 4th and 4 at the Tennessee 43, trailing 7-0 with 8:52 to play, and I guess they feel the time is right to try to get that first down and try to push on to a tying touchdown.
Everything is relative, of course, and has to be determined by the flow of the game and also what you think of your offense and what you think of your defense and so on. In this case, I would suspect that Frank Burns and his coaches have collaborated on the sidelines, or perhaps he made the decision himself. I'm sure he did. This is normally a head coach's decision. Hey, these guys do outman us. They were 17-point favorites. We've hung in here this long, 8:52 remaining in the 4th quarter, trailing only 7-0. We've got to make our play now. This is, well, let's see now.
Well, he's sending on the kicking team. They waited a long time to make that decision, and then they sent on the kicking unit. So with 8:52 to play, Rutgers feels they have time enough to do things. Nobody is back deep for Tennessee, and the defense was trying to call timeout, but you can't do that. Liska hunts. Nobody is back deep on 4th down. It bounces for Tennessee at the 22-yard line, and that was just a poor punt. Not the time you want to shank it short. So Tennessee takes over. I thought for a moment Rutgers was going to go for it. Instead, they decided to punt. Tennessee apparently was looking for the team to go for it. Nobody was back deep, but Rutgers couldn't capitalize.
I wish Frank Burns had made his decision sooner. I went into that lengthy discourse, but not.
You have to have the ability to guess just like a coach does. 23-yard line, 1st and 10, Tennessee. And Johnny Jones is backed up at the line of scrimmage. I thought they were going for it too. Lionel Washington made the hit. The Rutgers defense has played well. Credit should go to defensive coordinator Ted Cottrell. They've alternated people throughout the game. They've gotten a lot of support from the linebackers, Dumont and Stowe, and they've gotten the most out of that front unit. Swain has played well. Beshner at times has been in there. Perdilla, Woodley, Washington, Bukowski, Sagnella. 9 or 10 men have played in that front 5. 2nd down and 12. Cockrell to throw. Forced out of the pocket and threw it away. He just threw that one out of bounds. Here's Ted Cottrell, who is back with Rutgers after a couple of years with the Kansas City Chiefs of the National Football League. He had coached with Frank Burns prior to his departure to KC.
In other games that I've seen Rutgers play, I'm talking about last year against Auburn in particular and Pittsburgh, they hung in there well for 2, sometimes 3 quarters, and then the superior personnel and great depth of their opponents took over. So far in this 4th quarter, they've done quite well in continuing to contain Tennessee.
3rd and 11, Jones with a big hole, breaks the tackle. He's at the 40, the 50, and Errico pulls him down from behind at the 37-yard line. Big breakaway runner is Johnny Jones, and that time he almost went for 6 points.
Would you say I spoke too soon? But that really wasn't the case, because this was just a good effort by Johnny Jones. Watch number 33. He breaks away from the flow, everything going the other way. He was expected to run to his left, decided to break to his right, and good speed by Errico as he runs him down and saves a Tennessee touchdown.
A 42-yard pickup by Johnny Jones. 1st and 10 at the Rutgers 37. B.B. Cooper gets a couple off the right side. So far in this football game, Jones has carried the ball 37 times for 229 yards.
It's a lot of carries, isn't it? And as we mentioned, they came into today's game with 3 of their top 4 runners. Johnny Jones was one of those top 4 runners, but the other 3 injured.
That's a season for some running backs. Here's Jones again, carry number 38. First down, Tennessee, their 16th of the afternoon, and the ball inside the Rutgers 25.
Tyrone Stowe is not a big inside linebacker, 6'2", 205. When you want to bring down Johnny Jones, who is almost as big, you've got to hit him low. Stowe cannot get a shot at him low, and look, he's trying to wrestle him down. Bulldogging, is that what they call it? Not very successful until he gets some help from Dan Errico and Bill Houston.
23-yard line, 1st and 10, Tennessee. 6:47 left in the football game. Volunteers lead 7-0. Johnny Jones, Lionel Washington, and 4 or 5 other Rutgers players.
You know, you look up at the top of the stadium, Bruce, and you see those flags standing straight out. They seem to be blowing in the direction that Tennessee is moving. But again, you never know what's happening down on the field, whether the wind is swirling, and you really don't know how much of a factor the wind is. But certainly Tennessee has not put the ball up in the air very often in the second half, perhaps because Cockrell did not have a good first half. He is now 7 for 17 for only 55 yards.
2nd down and 7 at the 20. Cockrell again audibilizing at the line of scrimmage. Hand off to B.B. Cooper. Cooper to the 18-yard line. It will bring up a 3rd down and about 4.
So you say B.B. Cooper, a little guy. He's a junior, 196 pounds, but on a 5'6" frame. Those guys are strong. Yeah, he's tough to bring down. Because no matter where you hit him, you're hitting density. You know, it's not, they have the other fullback is 6'4", 215. I guarantee that B.B. Cooper runs harder than he does.
3rd down. Hand off to Jones. Dumont tackles him short of a 1st down at the 15. It should bring up a 4th and short, and a field goal is big with only 5:10 to play. You're leading 7-0, and Johnny Majors sends on the field goal unit. Fuad Revez, 13 of 20 this year. This is a chip shot for him, but you never know.
Fuad, the kicking coach, who's been around for quite a while. His name escapes me. Can't pronounce Fuad, so he just calls him Frank.
This will be a 32-yard attempt. Ball plays down. Revez's kick is up, and it is no good. Off to the left. Again, plenty of foot, but not on target. And Rutgers remains in the football game, down 7-0. With 4 minutes and 41 seconds left in the football game. Rutgers with the ball at their own 20 after the miss by Fuad Revez. 4:41 left in the game. The Scarlet Knights have to go 80 yards to pay dirt. Here's Pendergrass on the end around. And he goes nowhere. He's tripped up by Terry Brown. A loss of a couple yards on the play, and that end around fooled nobody.
No, it didn't. Terry Brown, a freshman cornerback. They've got 2 freshmen starting in that secondary. I think that perhaps because of the changes at the high school level, where high school teams now throw the football, a freshman has a better chance of breaking in, you know, his first year in college and doing an adequate job because he has seen the pass in high school.
LaPrairie looks across the middle, and it's incomplete. Intended for Alan Andrews, back in coverage. Jim Duncan, number 31. And again, pressure was on LaPrairie. It will bring up a 3rd down and 12.
But he's been under pressure all day. It's really remarkable that he's done as well as he has, 12 for 21, because they have put pressure on him, especially Reggie White. That was a fine play by the defensive back in that case.
LaPrairie straight back to throw. Steps through the pocket. He's in trouble. Dumps it across the middle. It's caught by Andrews in a crowd. Shy of the first down at the 24, and it will bring up a 4th and 6.
I don't know how he held on to that football, because there were at least 4 players that hit him just as he caught the ball. There was a crowd around the football. Now watch this. Andrew Baker, he seems to be wide open, but of course LaPrairie doesn't have a chance. He's under pressure. Had he had pass protection, very likely that he may have been able to find Mr. Baker downfield. Pass protection is the key.
Liska in punt formation, and he hits it well. Fair catch called, and he lets it roll, does Tim McGee, and this time Rutgers gets a good bounce.
Ironical, coming into today's game, all we heard about was the fine kicking game for Tennessee. Rutgers has outperformed them today, kicking with a football.
Is that ball still rolling? It finally dies at the 10-yard line, a 66-yard kick, and Tennessee has the football and a 7-point lead with 3:06 to play.
If you're ready for high-performance photography, the Minolta X700 program system is ready for you. Computerized, motorized, systematized, total capability, from fully programmed where you said nothing, even with flash, to creative manual where you control everything. The high-performance Minolta X700, voted camera of the year on 2 continents.
Only from the mind of Minolta.
Unbelievable. Simply unbelievable. I fly a lot of miles on TWA and I can earn free tickets. But now TWA also counts miles I fly on Eastern and Qantas. My miles add up faster, so I can earn free tickets sooner. Free tickets to almost anywhere on Earth. Imagine TWA doing that. What in the world will they think of next?
You're gonna like us, my TWA.
7-0 Tennessee leads. 3 minutes, 6 seconds to play. 1st and 10 Volunteers. This is the defensive series that Rutgers must give the ball back to their offense if they're going to have a shot at tying this football game up.
Hard to believe that the score is still just 7-0. Rutgers has been in this football game all the way. Frank Burns was asked if he had mentioned the previous upset by Rutgers over Tennessee back in 1979 to his club, and he said it really doesn't mean much. You know, these guys weren't around. The only player on the field who participated in that game was Jim Dumont.
2nd down and 7 from the 13-yard line. Cockrell rolling out. And he wants to stay in bounds before he's hit by Tyrone Stowe. Gets to the 15-yard line, and it will bring up a 3rd and 5. I asked Johnny Majors the same question yesterday, and Majors said, yes, we do remember Rutgers. And that was a big, big upset in '79, the first time Rutgers made the trip to Knoxville. They knocked off the Volunteers 13-7.
Majors had a good statement about that. He said there's an old adage that you can learn from the past, but that you don't live there. In other words, yes, they've learned from their past upset or the past upset by Rutgers, but they've got to forget their previous wins and how well they've been playing this year.
3rd and 5. Big 3rd down. Jones is corralled by Jim Dumont. And Rutgers will get the football back with 1:35 to play.
But let me tell you, it hasn't been a lack of effort on the part of the Tennessee football team. They came out ready to play today. They're hitting down there. Okay, drops it. They got the fullback leading. Not a good block at all. But then again, perhaps a good effort, and perhaps Jim Dumont is just an outstanding football player that took on the lead blocker. I believe that was the little guy Booker, and made the tackle.
1:10 left in the game. Tennessee leads 7-0, and Jimmy Colquitt back in punt formation at his own 3.
Oh, close.
And he hits a good punt. Chedneck, fair catch, but Rutgers still will get field position at their own 44 55 seconds left in the football game, and now it's do or die.
The brakes have evened out, and it's a situation now where they've just got to move down the field, but they've got to do it quickly. And in this situation, of course, the pressure is on your quarterback, Jack LaPrairie.
Rutgers has 2 timeouts left. LaPrairie back to throw. And it's incomplete. The ball was deflected by Mark Studaway in the backfield. There's the bright orange and white. Tennessee has sent some 2,500 fans from Knoxville for this one. And they are sweating this one out.
Really doesn't matter how close it is in the final analysis, but it doesn't. It's just a matter of who wins on the scoreboard.
2nd down and 10. LaPrairie, straight drop back, has time, throws complete to Albert Smith, but he is hit hard for a loss. Johnny Williams, the nose guard, released well and upended Smith. It will bring up 3rd and 13.
You know, can I take that back? It does matter. It does matter how you play, and the final score shouldn't be the only determining factor. If Rutgers was in this football game only because Tennessee had made an inordinate number of mistakes and kept them in the football game, then the final score is all that matters. But Rutgers has played well. Okay, they played about as well as we've seen them play, and the score deserves to be 7-0. They don't deserve a greater lead, is what I'm trying to say, and therefore Rutgers, regardless of the final outcome of the game, deserves to be praised, as do their coaches, I think, who have come up with an outstanding game plan. Frank Burns and Ted Cottrell and Dick Curl have really done a wonderful job in preparing this team.
And George DeLeon and the rest of the coaching staff. Well, 40 seconds remain in the football game, and Rutgers has a 3rd and 11 from their own 42. Let's see what Jack LaPrairie will do. Pendergrass to the right and Baker to the left. LaPrairie has time, now rolls out of the pocket. He's in trouble, he throws, and it's caught. And then fumbled, and they rule it an incompleted pass. Baker was really popped after he caught the football, and it will be ruled as an incompleted pass, and this is it. 4th and 12, Rutgers' last chance.
Well, it better have Baker's name on it. LaPrairie once again under pressure, and he shouldn't have been. They're rushing just 3 defensive linemen. Remember, you've got 5 offensive linemen blocking on them, so really to have your quarterback under that much pressure is inexcusable.
That tells it all.
Good football game, and it's not over.
Good hard-nosed football game. 4th and 11, and LaPrairie wants to be sure about things, and he'll take a timeout here.
Frank Burns on the sidelines. I never knew Frank Burns before I started to do these games, but I have the utmost respect for him. No nonsense type guy. He shoots straight to straight, from the shoulder, and he's going to tell you what's going on, and I think he's done a great job of utilizing the personnel available. That, in the final analysis, is the mark of a good coach, the man that gets the most out of the available talent, putting them in the right positions, and of course getting them to perform, to put forth a maximum effort and develop to their maximum potential, and I think that's what he has done.
And Rutgers has won their last 2 games in a row over Division I AA teams, and a lot of people said, well, they beat clubs they should have beaten because Colgate and William and Mary are not in the classification of 1A, but I think Rutgers coming out today and playing Tennessee, a team ready to crack the top 20, one of the pride teams of the Southeastern Conference, and for Rutgers to play them so hard and so well, also a credit should go to the coaching staff. Okay, 4th and 12. Last chance for LaPrairie and company. LaPrairie's back to throw. He fires complete to Pendergrass, and he had a first down, and then he lost it. Now it depends on where they spot the ball. And I believe he's short.
Gosh, it certainly appeared that he did have the first down.
We'll wait for the official ruling from Joe Hicks. And Tennessee will take over. Rutgers shy of the first down by maybe a foot.
A good effort on the part of Rutgers. The game, for all intents and purposes, is over now. Let's see if he did have the first down. Let's try to see. He's just over that yard line. Oh, sure, he had the first down by a yard or so. Came back and lost it.
23 seconds left, and Cockrell just touches his knee to the surface, and Tennessee will be improving their record to 6-2 with their 4th consecutive win. The Volunteers very much alive for a bowl berth again this year. 6 seconds left in the football game, and Tennessee has come north and will leave with a victory.
Well, we mentioned that the Rutgers coaches...
Rutgers Sports Review with Pat Delsey. Brought to you by the Red Circle Bank, New Jersey National Bank.
Hello, sports fans, and welcome once again to the Rutgers Sports Review. I am Pat Delsey, with you, of course, taking a look at what's happening this past week at Rutgers University. The football team held Tennessee to only 7 points. The soccer team continued to soar, and it's homecoming day and night for Jim Valvano. On the program this week, we have Coach Frank Burns as we take highlights of the Tennessee game and previews of the Bearcats of Cincinnati. All this and much more coming up on the Rutgers Sports Review. Thank you for joining us this week. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a moment.
What does this Omega watch have in common with this magnificent diamond and pearl necklace, with this superb Lenox vase, and this distinctive creation by Royal Dalton? Simply this, that here, in the elegant atmosphere of Plum, you can buy them all at remarkable down-to-reality discounts. I'm Rick Herman, General Manager of Plum, welcoming you to this unique establishment that brings you the great names in jewelry, watches, and giftware, from Dunhill to Mark Cross, Yadro, and Longines, at deeply discounted prices. In writing Plum's success story, we've had a lot of help from a bank we feel very close to, New Jersey National. In every area of service, from financing merchandise imports to structuring our pension program, there's nothing a New York or Philadelphia bank can do for us the Red Circle Bank can't do right here. They've never let us down. They've taught us how true it is that building New Jersey business is New Jersey National's business.
Welcome back to the Rutgers Sports Review. As we continue the program, our first guest, of course, is our special guest every week, Coach Frank Burns. Coach, Tennessee, one of the great teams across the country, offensively and defensively. I think going in, nobody would have expected a 7-point game, let alone holding Tennessee to 7 points. So in a sense, it's a moral victory, but there's no such thing really as a moral victory. How do you feel as you look back on the game, holding them to only 7 and coming close insofar as taking Tennessee?
Victory. I thought our defense played especially well, and we had, we got a break here or there, and maybe we could have come out with a win. So by and large, it was a great disappointment.
But I think defensively, you did a number on Tennessee.
Well, defensively, our kids played extremely well, and I really didn't think they could play that well against Tennessee. Tennessee, I think it'll be proven out that they have one of the better football teams in the country. I know this, that they have to have one of the fastest football teams in the country. They've had a very explosive offense. They scored over 40 points against Alabama. They got 39 last week, the week before our game against Georgia Tech. And for our kids to hold them to 7 points, I think was a great feat for our defensive football team.
Of course, when we talk defense, theirs is no slouch either.
They have an outstanding defensive football team. We really could not do anything with the ball, Pat. Our deepest penetration was to the 30-yard line. We had one other chance. We had a pass that could have been caught, was tipped, and Tennessee intercepted. But they're extremely fast. They've got a great defensive tackle, a kid named White, a defensive left tackle that they're building for All-American. I kind of questioned that, but after looking at film, I got to realize how good he is. And then after our football game, there's no doubt he is one of the best football players I've ever seen.
Was there a point when you saw consistency in the offense to possibly go for a TD?
Well, not really. There was one point in the game, I guess it was in the second quarter, we got about 3 first downs in a row, and then LaPrairie threw a pass that I thought could have been caught. Unfortunately, it was deflected and intercepted, but that's really about the only time we put anything together.
Yeah, that really wasn't what you would call a typical interception. It was deflected into the interceptor's hands, but it was one that almost was caught, or possibly should have been caught.
Well, I think it should have been caught. It would have put us down in there fairly deep. We may have, maybe we would have gotten a touchdown out of it. I'm sure that we would have at least got a field goal if Tommy came through and was accurate.
Now we're going to take a look at some of those plays we've just talked about, the 3 first down plays in a row, the interception, as we take a look at the highlights for Tennessee. Quite a ball game. Not a victory, a 7-0 win. Tennessee over Rutgers is not outstanding insofar as Tennessee is concerned. The only scoring play of the game is right here. And of course, this is Jim Miller going over the middle from the 2-yard line about 8 minutes into the first quarter.
Right, they were in a power eye. You show the strength that this kid have. He leaps up, he hits into Billy Houston, knocks Billy Houston back, and Billy's a very strong young man.
Tennessee had another scoring chance in the first quarter, but Ruad missed on a 45-yard field goal try. Here's the second quarter. Tennessee got a drive going. It began at their own 25, and we see a 2nd and 8 from the 20. Johnny Jones going up the middle for a gain of 16 to the Rutgers 4. And we have 2 plays later, 2nd and goal from the 4. Alan Cockrell's pass intended for John Cook is intercepted by a very happy Bill Houston in the end zone. We're going to see a replay on that, by the way, on a tremendous move by Bill Houston. We were talking, before we get to Bill Houston's interception, we have Jones, who had 234 yards on 41 carries in the game, both new Tennessee records. He carried most of their rushing yardage.
Outstanding back. And on his pass, Pat, I think Cockrell really tried to force it in. Billy had him covered underneath, and Carl Howard was behind. There was no way he was going to complete that pass.
3rd and 5 from your own 28. LaPrairie scrambles for 11 yards and gets a first down out of it.
LaPrairie had a busy day out there, believe me, and I thought overall LaPrairie played a very fine football game.
That was one of the 3 first downs in a row. Here's a 3rd and 5 from the 44. LaPrairie completing a 6-yard pass to tight end Alan Andrews, and we'll get a chance to see that on replay.
This is what we call an option screen pass, Pat. He looks for Allen first. He doesn't have Allen. If the linebacker goes back up with him, he throws out to Albert Smith.
And on the same drive, facing another 3rd and 5 from the Tennessee 45, LaPrairie goes to Boris Pendergrass. A gain of 10, another first down. 3 first downs in a row, and we'll see a replay on that.
This is Boris, just on a simple curl pattern, and he's come a long way this year, Pat. I think he's handling himself with a great deal of confidence.
Makes a nice move here.
Boris moving inside. He's against man coverage. He comes back on the curl pattern. LaPrairie puts it in there pretty well to him.
Now, on the play 2 plays later, a 2nd and 5 from the Tennessee 30. LaPrairie's pass intended for Pendergrass is intercepted by Davis.
Right. This was the play, and if we had gotten this ball, we'd be around Tennessee's 20-yard line and at least, be in field goal range.
The first half ended Tennessee 7, Rutgers nothing. And in the 3rd quarter, Rutgers defense halts another Tennessee drive when Carl Howard intercepts a deflected pass intended for Clyde Duncan. This was the 2nd interception by Rutgers.
Right. Carl had his best football game of the year. He's a very fine corner, and I think he played with a little more reckless abandon than he has in the last few games.
Here's some great work by Mercer Hedgeman downing this punt. Watch this.
This is also, it's a great job by Mercer. He downs it on the 5-yard line, and was also an outstanding kick by Liska. I thought Liska punted very well for us, Pat. Kept Tennessee deep in their own territory.
Had a lot of hang time there, allowing Mercer to get down.
Right.
Early in the 4th quarter, we see some good defensive work on a 3rd and 13 from the Tennessee 37. Cockrell is sacked by Clyde Woodley.
Right. Clyde's a young man. He's, we think, a good pass rusher. We've used him more and more each week, and he's doing a real good job for us.
On the replay on this, we're going to see Jeff Cardilla and Lionel Washington kind of pushing him out of the pocket, Cockrell, allowing, of course, Clyde Woodley to get to him.
Right. I think especially Cardilla. Cardilla had a lot to do with this sack. You'll see Cardilla right there, 79, forcing him right into Clyde Woodley's arms.
And on the next play, we have Andrew Baker showing his ability when he takes in a 31-yard pass from LaPrairie amid some Tennessee defenders.
Right. LaPrairie takes a real hard whack here, just as he's releasing the ball. The ball is underthrown slightly, and there goes Baker. He goes up for that ball, and he usually comes down with it. He's an exceptional wide receiver.
We're going to see the severe hit on LaPrairie and the excellent catch by Baker on the replay here.
Right, LaPrairie's coming out to his left. He doesn't see the fellow coming in here right into the picture. He gets hit just as he's releasing the ball, and that's the reason the ball was underthrown. There goes Baker. He tips the ball away, catches it.
And the Rutgers defense rose to the occasion when on a 3rd and 5 from the Rutgers 18, the Dumont stopped Johnny Jones for a gain of 2. Tennessee tried a field goal on the next play but missed. It was their second miss of the day by one of the great kickers in the country, Ruad. And then Rutgers still had a chance with less than a minute left in the game. You're faced with a 4th and 11 from your 43. La Prairie passes to Pendergrass, but it's about a yard short of a first down. Actually, Boris had the first down, and his momentum took him backwards
right,
2 or 3 yards.
He did have the first down, but it took him back out of first down territory.
And, of course, that was the more or less end of the game. The final score, as we mentioned, 7-0. But you got to feel good about going up against Tennessee, and I would say across the country, no one would even think that Rutgers would be in the game. You know how they keep on saying you're not competitive or teams aren't competitive with other teams. There's no question that Rutgers was not only competitive, but definitely in the ball game and also very close to a possible win over Tennessee.
Well, there's no doubt about that. You know, a 7-0 ball game. We certainly had to be in a football game. The thing that pleased me the most is really the way our defensive football team played. They played with a lot of confidence and a lot of aggressiveness.
Cincinnati up next. Cincinnati had a great beginning. They beat Penn State, and of course they've had a seesaw situation for the rest of the season thus far with a tie just last week. We're going to check on the Cincinnati activity. We'll take a preview of their players after we pause for this message.
This is the Custom Alloy Corporation, and I am Adam Ambielli, chairman, with Tom Bracken and Tony Peretti from our bank, New Jersey National. Unlike many banks, New Jersey National doesn't play musical chairs with its account officers. Tom and Tony stay with us, work closely with us, spend time with us, understand our banking needs at first hand. We've never had a more productive bank relationship, no question. Building New Jersey business is New Jersey National's business.
Rutgers football fans know it. New Jersey is Scarlet Knight country. For 1983, that means an exciting season of Rutgers football as the Scarlet Knights take on some of the top teams in the nation. Don't miss any of this challenging schedule. For information on individual game and group tickets, call 201-932-2766. That's 201-932-2766 for Rutgers football.
We're back here on the Rutgers Sports Review, chatting with Coach Frank Burns. Coach, Cincinnati, a rough Bearcat club. They started the season super by beating Penn State when Penn State was having their troubles. They tied last weekend, Kentucky 13-13. In between, they've been up and down in both situations, but really a tough Bearcat ball club. I saw them earlier this season, and they are good.
Yeah, they handled Temple pretty easily, you know, when they came out here, but they do have a very good football team, Pat, and I mean that sincerely. They played a very difficult schedule. They played Florida State, one of the better football teams in the country. 2 weeks ago, they played Miami at Cincinnati, and Miami beat them 17-7 in a very tough game, and Miami's got a rate probably one of the 3 best football teams in the United States, but they are a good football team.
They've got this Reggie Taylor, a freshman that any coach would love to have.
Yeah, he can run. I tell you, he can do it all. He's got good hands. He's a fine receiver. He's a tough inside runner, and he can break the long one on you. He has very good speed.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights that we have from Cincinnati in their Cornell game, and we'll be able to see Reggie Taylor as well as several other people in this contest. First play after the team marches onto the field will be a handoff to Reggie Taylor, who is one of the leading runners as well as one of the leading receivers.
He's got very fine speed, and, you know, he's a young kid, but he knows how to run. He knows where to find the daylight.
We get another handoff to Reggie again, this time on the right side. He gets a lot of yardage on it.
It was on a counter play, and he cuts back against the grain, which kind of scares you. That gives you the long run.
Here comes a pitch to Reggie Taylor. This one goes for a touchdown as he breaks some tackles.
Here he goes. He's got look at the
and he leaps into the end zone too. Nobody was there, but he leaps.
Goes at it.
Now we're going to see Bodine passing here to Bill Booz.
Billy Booz is a very fine receiver, and I think he's caught a pass in at least the last 21 straight football games.
Here's another pass to Bill. By the way, Bodine is out for this game, definitely.
Right, Bodine is out for the season. He was injured 2 weeks ago.
And Wilgang will be in the game at quarterback. This, of course, is against the Cornell squad. A pass to Jason Stargell for a touchdown. And there's another pass to Jason as he's pushed out inside the 10.
He and Booz are very fine wide receivers.
Here's a good wide receiver, Darden, who gets a nice catch here. and he's going to have a great kick return.
Right. This fellow just a freshman also, Pat. He hasn't done much the last 2 weeks, but obviously, you take a look at him here. He has very fine speed and can go all the way.
He can break that big play, which is always something that a team wants up their sleeve. Look at him fly.
Yeah, that's right. Speed certainly helps.
Now, you're 1-1 against Cincinnati in 80, 24-7 at Rutgers, and of course losing 10-0 in 82. What do you see insofar as your films and things that you know about Cincinnati?
Well, you know, I see a very, very tough competitive football game. Defensively, they're not a real big group of people defensively. I think their front line average is about 240, but they got very good speed. They move extremely well, and offensively, they run the ball well, and they pass. I think they pass exceptionally well, and we're going to have to, again, try to get some heat on the passer.
You took a lot of beating from a standpoint of this past weekend. How is LaPrairie and the rest of the squad physically?
Well, you know, thank God we do not have any serious injuries. We have a lot of bumps and bruises. LaPrairie, you know, he took a beating in that football game, and, you know, he's an exceptionally tough kid, Pat. I don't think many kids would have got off the carpet a couple of times after hits he took, but he'll be fine for Saturday.
You know, we had Jack on the program last week.
Yeah.
He's such a mild-mannered looking young man, very quiet, and you wouldn't think that he'd be the gutty kind of a ball player just by looking him off the field.
Believe me, he's as gutty as they come.
He certainly is, and we want to wish you much success as you travel to Cincinnati this weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
Good.
Thank you very much. Again, congratulations on a great game against Tennessee, and we have a great contest coming up this weekend, I'm sure, at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. We'll have the coach back next week to talk about what happens in that game. We'll be back with more action here on the Rutgers Sports Review after we pause for this message.
I'm Horace Long, president of Merchant & Evans Industries, with a piece of a unique industrial roofing product we make called Zip Rib. With Zip Rib, 12-inch wide aluminum panels like this, but a lot longer, are electrically seamed together, zipped together you might say, by a remarkable zipping machine, forming a lightweight, leak-proof, and maintenance-free roof that keeps overhead costs to a minimum. The acquisition of Zip Rib by Merchant & Evans was a major step, and our bank, New Jersey National, helped significantly by coming up fast with a financing agreement that enabled us to purchase Zip Rib before our required deadline date. New Jersey National gives us every banking service we need, plus fast decisions and effective action. It's a combination that adds up for us in ways no bank in New York, Philadelphia, or Pittsburgh can match. Ways that underscore the fact building New Jersey business is New Jersey National's business.
Former Rutgers standout Jim Valvano, coach of the NCAA champion North Carolina State basketball team, was honored at a traditional dinner last week with the prestigious Rutgers University Medal presented to him by University President Dr. Edward J. Blaustein. Valvano, who was co-captain of the Rutgers team, which advanced to the Final Four in the 1967 NIT tournament, has recently established an endowed scholarship here at the university, which he called an opportunity for him to give something back to those who helped him reach this point in his career. At the dinner, sponsored by the Scarlet R Club, Jim was toasted and roasted by a lineup of notables that includes Rutgers basketball coach Tom Young, Valvano's former coach Bill Foster, now at South Carolina, Walt Clyde Frazier, who played on the Southern Illinois team, which beat Rutgers in that 1967 tournament, and Valvano's former teammate and Rutgers' first basketball All-American, Bobby Lloyd. When it was his turn to speak, Jim Valvano touched on a variety of topics, ranging from serious and thought-provoking observations on winning the championship and the importance of sports in education, to some hilarious recollections of his days as a player and later adjusting to life as a coach in North Carolina. And of course, by listening to Jim Valvano at the dinner, you know that in addition to being a championship coach, he could be a stand-up championship comedian.
Then sophomore year, that's when the blonde bomber, you know, and I got on the varsity. Roger did not play again, if I recall, Raj. And that's when we played. People don't, you know, talk about that properly. 14 low offense that we ran. 14 low was we gave the ball to Bob, and four of us would stand on the baseline. Imagine that. We would be on the baseline, and Foster would tell us to be active. What the hell are you going to do down there? You know, I mean, like I was about 6 inches from out of bounds, you know? He'd say, move, where you going to go? And that's when I had Phil Robinson. So we used to give one of these. We'd go, you know? And Bobby, that's when you could dribble as long as you want. He's out there dribbling, spinning, faking, head faking, dribbling, and we're in the court. We're going like this. That's the truth. You saw it. You were there. It was unbelievable. Then he'd shoot, miss, and they'd fast break, and he'd say, "Get back on defense." How the hell am I going to get back? I got in last night, and Bob and I stayed up quite late. And then afterwards, this morning we got up early, and we toured the campus and went to 65 Lewis Street, which is where we shared an apartment for 2 years. And we knocked on the door, and 3 students came down, and one of them happened to be a basketball fan and, recognized me. I waited 20 years for that, I'll tell you something. It was beautiful, I said, come on, Bob, you come up too, The guy said to him, "You used to room with Jim Falfano?" True story. I get the job, and my first Wolfpack meeting is with 400 people who give about $1,000 a piece to the school. And they're talking about, this is, like you get the red jacket on with the tie with the wolves, and the red pants, and, NC State basketball jacket, and I already got the red eyes, And they say, you got to go, and I'm going to Greenville, North Carolina. It's a true story. And they say, you got to get him excited. You're replacing a man who won the national championship at a school that has great tradition. You got to do a great job. It's fine. Just leave me, show me where, I'll get it done. I'll get him excited. And I get on a plane, fly to Greenville, North Carolina. The woman next to me says, "Where are you flying?" I said, "Coach." I said, "I'm going to Greenville, North Carolina." She said, "What for?" I said, "A Wolfpack meeting." She said, "In Greenville?" "Yep, Greenville." She said, "Well," I land. I go to the counter, get my luggage. Guy says, "Hey, you're new coach at State, aren't you? Where you going?" I said, "Greenville, North Carolina, Wolfpack meeting." He says, "Greenville?" I said, "Yeah." I didn't say nothing. I waited 5:30, then get picked up 6 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock. Finally, I get paged, pick up the phone at the head of the Wolfpack Club. He says, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm in Greenville. Where are you?" I said, "He's in Greenville." I said, "Ain't that big an airport here? I'm the guy with the wolves on the tie. You'll pick me right out like that, So he said, "Describe the airport to me." I said, "Fine." I looked behind me, and I said, "It says right here, Greenville Spartanburg Airport." You see, I didn't know. He told me Greenville Spartanburg Airport's in the state of South Carolina. I flew to the wrong state. 400 members of the Wolfpack Club getting ready to listen to their new leader, to lead them to a national championship. And I flew to Greenville, South Carolina, rather than Greenville, North Carolina. Minor error. I have so many people to thank. The people up here, it's hard to rip. It really is. The man over here to my left, Bill Foster, who really, not only was a great coach, and he is that, but that's unimportant. It's really, he taught me a tremendous lesson, and that is no one cares more about his players than he does. You look at who he's hired and who he's helped. I haven't made a move in, 17 years without talking to him. And Bob, who I've remained, very, very close to. And it seems as you get older, you get closer to the people, that you care about. And my family, and my dad, who coached for 25 years, and told me when I got the job, my first coaching job, said, "Jim, just remember one thing. They need you more when you lose than when they win." What I'm saying is that I'm very proud to be a graduate of Rutgers University. I'm very proud of that. I'm very honored and proud that some of my former teammates, would come back. I'm proud of the people who took the time to come here. I'm so happy that your present coach, Tom Young, took the time to come. As he says, these are guys I played with and I coached, and he came here today, and he's done such a fantastic job. I was proud when they were in the Final Four. I was very proud. I was proud of traveling around the campus today. The only reason I stand here really today is because of all of these people who are here today, my family, and a great university. Because the thing that bothers me, and I don't want to get my soapbox, but what bothers me sometimes is how we don't stand up enough and pound our chests and say, this is one great university, Rutgers University. And it is.
Jim Valvano, not only a champion on the court side, but a champion off the court. We welcome him back and wish him much luck for many years to come. We'll be back here on the Rutgers Sports Review after this message.
Here's your coffee.
Excuse me, but how many reasons can you think of to give to your United Way?
Wow, it's a good way to help a lot of different people with just one gift.
I can't think of a better way to give.
It not only helps the big, well-known causes, but a lot of important little ones, too.
When you think about it, there are as many good reasons to give to your United Way as there are good people who do. Now more than ever.
Thanks to you, it works for all of us. The United Way.
The kids of today are the doctors, the engineers, the scientists, the teachers of tomorrow. Only with your help can they be assured of a first-rate college education. Because today, colleges are having a hard time coping with the high costs of learning. Invest in the future of America. Please give to the college of your choice.
We're back here on the Rutgers Sports Review. In other sports news at the Rutgers University campus, the Scarlet Booters continue to dominate the soccer field after they shut out the Huskies of the University of Connecticut 3-0. The Booters are now almost assured of a position in the NCAA tournament playoffs. Two former Rutgers football players are also in the news this week. The New Jersey Generals have signed kicker Alex Falcinelli and linebacker Jeff Blanchard to the team. Falcinelli holds two Knights records. He scored the most field goals in a single game when he kicked in 4 during the 1981 Temple game. He also holds the record of the longest field goal of 51 yards. That's a feat he matched twice later. Jeff Blanchard played for Rutgers from 1977 to 1980 and then moved on to play in the Canadian Football League before signing on now with the Generals. And finally, women's tennis completed their fall season last week. The team finished up with a terrific record of 8-1 for the year. Congratulations to the tennis team. Right now, let's take a look at what the football opponents will be doing this weekend.
This unique binding machine can actually turn out 18,000 hardcover books an hour. I'm Herbert Axelrod, president of TFH Publications, which publishes more pet books than anyone in the world. In doing so, we look to an exceptional bank, New Jersey National, for everything from financing a research and development project like this one to handling our overseas collection. We've learned firsthand that building New Jersey business is New Jersey National's business.
The Rutgers University Concert Series announces a feature performance of the Treger-Watts Duo with violinist Charles Treger and pianist Andre Watts. The Treger-Watts Duo promises to be one of the most tremendous collaborative performances ever to be heard in the College Avenue Gym. Reserve Tuesday, December 13th for Charles Treger and Andre Watts. Order your tickets now by calling 201-932-7511 and charge them to your Visa or MasterCard.
As we conclude this week's program, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for responding to our Rutgers football ticket giveaway. We thank you very much for the tremendous response we've received to the program. And now we'll be giving away 5 more pairs of tickets for the final home game of the season. To win your free tickets to the Temple game, which, by the way, will be at Rutgers Stadium, 1 o'clock, November 19th, simply send us your name, your address, and telephone number to Tickets, Box 427, Piscataway, New Jersey, 08854. Once again, that address is Tickets, Box 427, Piscataway, New Jersey, 08854. And of course, all you have to do is include your name, address, and telephone number. 5 pairs of tickets will be given away. The winners will be chosen at random. The deadline for submitting your entry is November 7th. Get your entries in right away. We'd like to put you in the stands at Rutgers Stadium for the Temple game. And that's our program for this week here on the Rutgers Sports Review. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you again next week. Till then, have a good week in sports.
Rutgers Sports Review with Pat Delsey. Brought to you by the Red Circle Bank, New Jersey National Bank.